Sit back and relax while I listen to Train Kickers podcast. I'm Dave, and along with my co-hosts Dan and Steve, we're going to take you all around the world of miniature wargaming. We're going to start the episode with a bit of news and hobby and all of that. But when we get to the main section of the episode, we're going to be continuing our discussion on the traitor Legios for Titanicus. In particular, tonight we're going over Mordaxis, Audax, Magna, and Vulturum. Now, on to the show. All right, gentlemen, and how are you this fine evening?
Oh, I'm doing fine. It's getting close to spring break, so God knows I need the break and the kids need the break. But honestly, I don't care about the kids. I need the break.
God, I
But
hope none of them listen.
I fucking hope not. I really, they know. So, what fun fact? I always tell them if you can find my social media, then I've done a piss poor job of hiding it. Now, they never have found my Facebook, my YouTube channel, my Instagram. I don't think they found the podcast, but they have found my MySpace. As embarrassing as that is,
Wait,
and
you can actually still find that shit?
MySpace?
it's still alive. MySpace still works. It's not even cached either. Cached?
Cached.
Cached. Cached. Yeah, it's
Cached.
not even cached. It's straight up you type in my name and my MySpace pops up with all my old like high school and middle school photos. Oh, it's
Oh God.
so cringe.
Okay, I got a better question. How do they even know MySpace is a thing? These kids are like,
They
they're
just type my name in
children.
Google. No,
They
they
don't
just type my
even
name in
know what a
Google.
floppy disk is. They're like,
Yeah.
that's a save icon.
Yeah. They type my name in Google and it pops up because those are the only results. Those are the only things I have my actual name on. The rest of it is just monikers or aliases. But yeah, no, I'm doing good. I've been working on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I finally painted my Infinity because someone went to Adepticon. One of my friends went to Adepticon and picked me up the monkey boxes that the new sculpts of the monkeys. So I sold off my military orders that I never painted and have been in my desk for God, how long? Since we started the podcast. Even before we started the podcast.
Yeah, honestly,
they've been
probably a
in my
little bit
desk.
before. So we're
Unopened.
going on, I want to say, close to
Probably
6 months?
October, November. Yeah, October,
Like that?
November, probably September. They were unopened, so I sold them for $140, which was like 20% off what they were worth.
That's not bad.
And yeah, because they were sealed. It's literally like here's 20% off of what you normally would buy, no shipping. And so I got the monkeys. I painted them up, I think, really nicely. Steve can interject and say they look like shit. I posted pictures on the Discord channel. But I went with like a desert scheme, which I really kind of like. I'm not gonna lie. And then the bases, I went with like a weird teal blue, uh, kind of alien-like teal, with some flowers. And honestly, I think it's gonna pop. I think they're gonna look really nice. And then I got nameplates as well. So yeah,
What I will say, I do think they look really good. And I think the big thing is they look very good for what you wanted to do with them. Because like you said, you use that contrast and stuff like that. These, for what I would call a little bit of a quicker style one, because you could spend 4 hours on an Infinity model if you wanted.
oh yeah, no, it's insane.
For the style that you went for, I think it does work very well. Just for me personally, when I think of Infinity, I usually think of that like that's the one spot where if I'm going to spend hours on a model, that might be where I do it, and that might be to my detriment as to why my Infinity is unpainted.
To be fair, the Morats are kind of they lend. I practice. I not practiced. I basically experimented with contrast, and just because like the level of detail on the models, like just no, Trey Talk. I can't pronounce their fucking names. Anyat. I know it's Anyat. It's the model all the way to the left with the sword up in the air.
Okay.
That coat. I know it's very hard to zoom in, but that coat that looks like multicolored green. That's just one contrast paint.
Oh, okay.
That's just one thing. But it looks like there's like six different colors in there, um, because of just the level of like the level of levels on that coat that got picked up by the multiple dry brushes I did before I contrasted. So there's
Okay.
grays, there's whites, there's browns, and it all got picked up by the contrast. So now there's like a gradient. So it looks really, I like it. And the desert scheme is actually pretty cool. It looks like they're gonna drop in a desert.
Nice.
Yeah.
All
What
right,
about you,
Steve.
Steve? What have you been
Yeah, how
doing?
have you
How
been?
you been doing?
We didn't even get to him yet.
I'm doing all right. I've been working on a bunch of salamanders. Um, Decided that this is gonna be the second army I have ready for demos when Heresy 2.0, whatever you want to call it, drops. So just trying to get a bunch of basic troops done. So I got a Flamer squad that I pretty much finished painting, and a Recon squad in Mark 6 armor. And now working on some Breachers I converted in Mark 3s.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so their shields are made out of two Source Warrior shields from Sigmar, kind of spliced together to make them a little bit bigger.
Okay.
And then they got a bunch of Spellcrow upgrades. They got all the flames and stuff. That's what I'm currently working on. Base coating it. I hate base coating so much. It's the most boring part of painting. I love
Airbrush.
highlighting. I love shading. Yeah, but
Okay,
I
now
can't.
all of us
I
have
can't
our
airbrush
airbrush
this.
bros. Paintbrush bro all the way. Paintbrush club all the way.
Good, bro.
That airbrush
I
shit.
can't lick my airbrush.
I can't lick the poison off my airbrush.
It's only poison depending on the cleaner that you use.
Very true.
Most of them are poison.
So Steve, I was gonna say, please, Steve, tell me, are you gonna 3D print what I sent you? So we found a STL of a okay, hold on, I always fuck this up in English. It's a Land Raider sized mastodon. So it's a Land Raider, or it's a mastodon sized to a Land Raider, and it looks fantastic in my opinion.
It's
And
pretty sick.
so I bought the STL, and it's so freaking cool. And I kind of want to do it for my custodies because they can take Land Raiders, but I don't like Land Raiders, so I was going to use it like as a mastodon. Anyway, me going crazy.
It is a very nice model. I wonder how long it'll take to print on Breachers.
There's
It's
100.
gonna be a
There's
bunch of parts.
Yeah, there's 400 parts, but you're not going to use 400
Jeez.
parts because I mean, to be fair, there were
Are they pre-supported, or is
yeah,
it
no,
like
they're
new?
pre-supported, or
Okay.
they're you can print them flat, or you can support them yourselves. It comes in so, for example, the assault
Printing
cannon spawn
flat.
soon.
That sounds like FDM printing.
Yeah, the
I've
assault
only gotten
cannon
prison.
spawn soon. There are three separate STLs for the assault cannon. One that's supported, one that's unsupported, and then something else that I forgot what it was. Um, but yeah, no, it looks really freaking cool. I kind of want it for my custodians.
Yeah, it's a sick model. Is that a Maker's Cult model, or is that one of the other ones?
I actually have no idea the creator. I bought it from. I had to buy it. It was like 16, $15.
It's not bad. Hey,
Uh,
support local creators.
yeah, support local copyright Ace Minis. It's called Ace Minis. Probably
Ace Minis. Okay.
send. Yeah, hold on, let me see if I could send this to Dave. So maybe I'm assuming you're sharing your screen, Dave.
Not on this for the moment. So if you send it to me,
Oh,
I might be able to blow it up. The big thing is I'm not doing it right now because I post pictures in related to all of this, so I don't really have anything to share now. But if you put that in, I'll try to make sure that part shows up. Yes,
yeah, I'll send it
I'll
because
try to
it
do
did.
so.
I mean, to be fair, it does actually look really, really good in my opinion. I try to like not be too overall, not too what's the word I'm looking for? Too positive about something because there's always negatives. But here, I send it to you.
Okay,
It looks
I'll
pretty
open it up.
fucking cool, and it's the size of a Land Raider.
Okay. Let's take a look. Let's make this screen a little bit bigger. Let's zoom in on this boy a little bit here. Oh, he does. I do like that. So like I said, for
Right.
anyone following along, especially when we do Titanicus, it's always kind of nice if you stream through the YouTube or something like that instead, because we do put up pictures from the community related to this. And actually, forgot to put out a call to on Reddit for this. Some of the Legios I'm a little light on, so I might still try to do that because I don't have to edit till tomorrow night. But this is through Colts. It's an Armored Mighty MRHV complete kit. Sci-fi modular tank that is it is a little bit better than
Reminiscent
Land
of
Raider. I
other
kind of like
things.
it.
It's a mastodon. It's a Forge World. It's
Okay, that's
basically
supposed to be
a
Mastodon. Okay.
Mastodon style
yeah,
Land
I
Raider
should say
scale.
yeah, it's a mastodon style. How about that?
Okay. Oh, it's
Yeah, no,
grav bait.
because
Oh
I
no,
love.
grav or wheels or treads.
Yeah,
Okay.
you could do grav wheels. You could put a turret on the top. If you don't want to put a turret on top, you don't have to. It came with like 16 fucking sponsoons from assault cannons
Sponsons.
to flamers to sponsons to like Volkite to assault cannons. I also put the Mastodon on there so you can compare it. Um, but the Mastodon is huge. I should point out, like the Mastodon model from Forge World is fucking massive.
That I
It
knew.
is a Yeah, it is a. You've seen it probably from Brett, but this is more land. This is more playable size. It's the nicest way to
Sure.
put it, and it looks
And
good. I like it.
monetarily much more reasonable because the Mastodon's currently running
I
583.
don't know if I want to. So I'm debating whether to do because custodians always have skimmers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm tempted to run it like a skim without the top turret, of course. But I kind of want to run it as a skimmer instead of a tank tread.
It makes it more
Yes,
more unique.
return to the OG with the flying land. Sorry,
Exactly,
the
the
flying
flying land
rhinos.
raider. That's why I saw this. Ah! Okay, good. Someone understands me.
Yeah.
So, someone fucking understands. Custodian from Dave, who's probably lost in Horus Heresy.
Like the
Originally,
old
yeah,
card game.
old shit, or like original Horus Heresy. Custodians didn't have the Coronis grav tank, which is that big, thick bootied tank. They had land raiders that floated, that grav land raiders, which is fucking fantastic.
Nah, yeah, make it float.
They
It
also wore no
differentiates it
shirts
enough.
back then.
And then I even found Custodes Land Raider doors that fit right in there. So they'll have the Custodes symbol on it. Oh yeah, no, I'm ready. I already sent it to Brett. I'm like, Brett, please
Yeah.
push me to the front of the line,
What do
please.
No, because he's currently pinning my claws. He's pinning me 20
Oh, okay,
sets.
no. He could push me in front of James.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
You know,
he printed the first set of 10, and he said the print actually. So I'm working on a Necron army. I'm getting I have no interest in buying the amount of flayed ones that I want to run because it's like a box of 5 is like 50 some bucks. So I'm taking warriors, chopping all their hands off, and I'm getting him to print me claws. He printed the first set of 10. He said they actually came out really good, which I was worried. The file I found was great. I was really worried that, they're kind of spindly, they might break and all. He said they look good. Cleaning them will be like the true test. Do they all just suddenly start snapping when they get cleaned? But he said actually right now they look really good. So he ran out the first set of 10. He might have the second set done by now, and then I'll grab them up. If they work well on the models, then I'm going to request him to make me at least another 20 pairs. So I'll have those warriors ready to go to get converted. And then I just don't know if I'm doing skin on them. It kind of looks a little bit better if you do, but I don't know if I want to go through the process of that. You could either use green stuff, or like a modeling putty, or I could use
I have a
the glue trick.
good, yeah, the super glue, white glue mix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do that, put in a microwave and all that. It does
Yep.
look good. I don't know if I'd want to do that on model after model after model, but we'll see. I'll at least put claws on it, and then I'll see how I feel. I might do it maybe for some of them, just to kind of keep a theme going, but I don't know if I want it to be that much of a project.
Okay.
But other than that, at least for me, that's mostly what I've been working on. I did start working on more Titanicus stuff since we've talking about it, doing so much about it. I figured I should try to actually finish some stuff. So we're working on my Sunfires and just other weapons. A lot of them I just didn't paint up all the weapons because the Vulpa scheme takes a while to do with like 7 layered paints for every armor panel. So I just had stopped. So I went back and started doing that. And then I think that's all I'm working on. And then we'll see when that's done. Maybe then I'll go to Infinity, or maybe I'll finish up the last 2 units of B1s that I got in a trade with someone. I traded him the clone stuff I had for the rest of his separatists from his starter, so I have now more B1s to actually put together. I got another 18 to do. But that'll give me a full 6 squads, so that's all you're ever allowed to run. But anything hobby from anyone else?
I've been some Horus Heresy demos in the last week, which was nice.
Nice. How are you finding the interest level in people to get the demo when they know another edition's coming out? Is it higher or lower?
It's weird because basically right now there's a lot more hype around Horus. So I think people are getting more interested now because there's like the whole, oh, Horus Heresy, it's a dead game, it has no support, it's in resin. Like that's kind of gone now that it's being produced in plastic with an upcoming starter set. So people are now willing to like invest like mentally, I guess, into the idea of it.
Yeah.
right? So there is more interest. People that never really gave it interest even like 5 years ago, maybe nah. Now they're like, hey, I want a demo. So I'm like, it's the old version. Like that's okay. I'm like okay, sure, I'll give you a demo, no problem. It's a fun game. I enjoy this game, but it's things are going to change, and where I think they're going to change rules, I'm like, this is probably one of the things. For now, this is how that goes.
Well, I mean, so we've seen, there's leaks all over the place. If you look around, you could find those sorts of things. Looking through it, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's differences, but learning the old edition, I think, is still valid. Like it's not. When you look at certain other games, when they went from like version 1 to version 2, the difference can be night and day, and it's like you learn this other one, forget everything you were just taught, and do this all over again. Here, you're going to make a couple small changes, for a new player at least, I would say.
Yeah, the way I've seen it explained, not really going to understand this, but the change from 5th edition 40K to 6th edition 40K, it's
Yeah.
like that type of a shift where like there's a lot of new ideas, but at the same time, the fundamentals from before are carrying over.
Yeah.
I agree that learning the current rules isn't valueless. If nothing else, it's an opportunity to be like, look, here's the community, here's the style of gameplay we have.
So yeah, I've been giving demos for 30K because community interest has gone up. With the new reveal, plastic support, people are into it. And I do agree that covering old editions is valuable still because it gives an idea for like the relative, I guess, competencies of units, right?
Mm.
Like you're not going to look at a Space Marine in 5th edition 40K and go, okay, this thing's going to die if it fights a Carnifex. All right, sorry. And go to the next edition and be like, okay, well, is it going to die? It's not as radical of a shift as it was going from, say, 7th edition to 8th edition.
Yeah.
Because in 8th edition, in 9th edition, where Tyranids have an 8th edition codex, which is only a deal for a short time, longer, a Space Marine could absolutely fight a Carnifex and, come away completely unharmed. Because Carnifexes are a joke. Not anymore.
No.
So I agree.
But yeah. And then even better in the new decks.
They still do D6 damage. They bounce. Because you roll the 1 every time. Every time.
Yeah. Laughs in Canoptic Doomstalkers.
You know the pain.
Yeah. They've actually they roll good damage, but I get like a hit. They could get 6 hits, I get 1. So he gets like 5-6 damage on his 1. Could do 36 damage, theoretically, does like 5. That'll change whenever they get a book and who knows whatever they call the next edition to end all editions, which they said 2 editions ago.
Remember, 8th edition is the final edition of 40K. It's a living rulebook. They'll just update it with PDFs from there on out. Guys.
Oh, GW.
And Finecast will lower the cost of models because resin's cheaper than metal.
I remember that.
You remember that? Back when they had
I-
the blog on the main website, there was like an article every other day instead
Yeah,
of 5 articles
I
each day.
very specifically remember that.
Yeah, one of the guys at the local store that wasn't even into Warhammer remembers that article and being very disappointed when the new stuff came in a week later and was like $5 to $8 minimum more expensive per blister.
Yep. I remember all of that, and it was horrible to work with in the beginning anyway. So it's like you're paying more and it's bad. Who wants this?
Yeah, there was a guy online who had to get like 7 Necron Overlords just to build one complete functional model.
Yeah.
Because there's that many air bubbles and broken parts that were not fixable. Like the entire orb for his resurrection orb would just be a void.
Yep.
It's like, I wanted a resurrection orb, not whatever this thing is. Send me a new one, please. Send a new one, same issue. Send a new one. Oh yeah, well now the arm doesn't exist, but the orb is there. Yeah, it was bad. Those are dark days. They're better now with their resin, but
yes,
they're not doing resin anymore.
It's the reason why I
also allegedly forged resin, which was another lie.
Yeah, It's the reason I got 3D printed for my 3 Satan shards. One, it's a lot cheaper, but also because I don't feel like dealing with fine cast. They're a bit older. Apparently, they're okay. Who knows? I don't want to deal with any of that.
Yep. But it's okay, because now we have plastic kits that are even more expensive than the resin ones.
That's true.
Ah. Yeah.
All right. Why don't we why don't we
Titanic
go
is
into a
time?
little bit of news? Dan, tell us the news that you were ever so
News.
happy to remind me occurred
No, it's just
today.
something
Was that
really
today?
small. Yeah, well, actually, I wanted to reference two things. One,
Well, I told you
I don't know
one.
if you follow Henry Cavill on Instagram.
No. No, I
He
don't.
actually posted a video of his finished custodian model that he painted.
I did see that because you posted that in every Facebook chat, every Discord server, every other
No,
spot where
no,
we
no, no,
communicate.
no. No, I
Yes, you did.
posted it in like
Remember,
two
I
things.
visually show things. I could go through and show it all if I wanted. I was like, what's this? Because at
Snitches
first I
get
was like,
stitches.
why do I care about like this model? And then I clicked on the Instagram. I was like, oh, okay, it's Henry Cavill. That's why. Okay.
Yeah, it's Henry Cavill. So that was pretty cool. Um, and then apparently through Facebook, I guess he announced it
Yeah.
that Angel Heraldez was being hired by Games Workshop for a project, which could really only mean one thing, unless they're making him paint Sigmar, which,
They could do that.
although he does do very good fantasy models, I will
Yes.
say. But I'm thinking it's going to be for Horus Heresy. They're going to give him an army to paint, which would just be like, well, Angel Heralde is painting the Horus Heresy army, please.
Now,
Please.
not that anyone listening would fall into this camp, but Dan has committed one of the cardinal sins of podcasting. You haven't told us who he is.
Oh, apologies.
There's a chance if
Mr.
someone doesn't play anything with
Very
Infinity
true,
whatsoever, they
very
might
true.
not actually know.
Well, it's not just Infinity. He does other stuff too, but he's well
He
known
does,
for
but
Infinity.
that's what he's probably best known for.
Yeah.
And
So Angel
now
Heralde
some other stuff.
Yeah, is a top tier, and I mean, you can disagree with me if you want here, but he is
No
a
one would.
top tier painter of multiple different models. Infinity probably being the most famous for him,
Yeah.
but he does different companies and fantasy companies as well. Like he recently did one, just a beautiful model of a knight with like free-handed cape. And anyway, point is, he basically teaches classes on how to paint miniatures. He sells books on how to paint miniatures and stuff like that.
He's got a
But
whole
he also has a social
YouTube presence
media.
related, or YouTube or Facebook presence related to it. Like now, I guess
Yeah.
I looked him up one time, so now my algorithm, every like 5th post is something from him, just showing little tips, tricks, as well as I'm sure, and I don't blame the guy, trying to get you, to buy the different forms of products that he does.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, listen, it's one thing to hawk, if you're a shit person, it's another thing to actually hawk and then back up your stuff with skill. And he's the latter. He has like incredible amount of skill. And like I said,
Absolutely.
if anyone doesn't know who he is, just put on Instagram, put Angel Heraldez, Angel, and then GIRALDEZ. He'll pop up immediately, and just look at some of his top, just recent posts.
Yeah.
They're just insane. Like his level of painting is ridiculous. He actually did since you're kind of sharing your screen, but he did a Russ model. He did not a Russ model, Lehman Russ. He did a Lehman Russ model.
Like the
quite
tank or the Primarch?
no, the Primarch did. Oh, I didn't even show
Ooh.
you. That's right. Here, check this out. This was I meant to post this to you guys, but this was I put it on
I
Discord.
did see this one, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's pretty.
yeah. Like
I like
shit.
it.
Like the axe, just the axe alone, I was just like, holy shit. Yeah, no, he's a fan fucking tastic painter. It's actually somewhat scary. But yeah, no, so GW hired him. Oh my god, I didn't even notice the fucking glowing runes on the base. Jesus Christ. Fucking like every time I look at this picture, I'm like, I find something else. The face is perfect. Oh my god. But yeah, no, so they hired him to basically do a project. So we don't know what the project is, but it's most likely going to be him doing a 30K army.
I don't
Which would be
know.
fantastic.
I don't know if I believe that's what the project is. I'm not saying it couldn't be. The reason I'm not entirely sure is what other things than Infinity, and maybe I'm just not aware of this, what other things he's actually painted armies for? He paints models, yes. But I don't think it's very common for him, at least commission-wise, from what I've seen, to paint full armies.
No, but
And
maybe they'll give him maybe they'll give him like a Primarch.
I think he's the kind of guy I think you get to do centerpieces. Infinity is kind of, since it's skirmish level, every model's kind of a centerpiece or could be a centerpiece. Even Horus Heresy, I don't think quite fits that. I could see him doing Primarchs or captains or whatever they call them, the Praetorians or something like that. I could see him do them asking him to do some sort of large Age of Sigmar models. So I'm curious to see what comes out.
I am.
Look at his announcement post.
Yeah.
He mentions 40k, Warhammer, and Warhammer Fantasy, but not Sigmar. I don't know if that's just because those are the one games he prefers, or if it's like it is a Warhammer Fantasy thing. If you want to really get people hyped up,
every Old Wars person, I should go to the Facebook. I don't want to shit on them, but I should go on the Facebook and see if they're like, oh my god, Old Worlds.
Like this is how they announced the Old World coming back, is just him painting something for it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god.
Yeah, I miss that, but we'll see.
I don't think that's really what it is. It's fun to stir the pot.
One other quick little bit of news, and this only matters if you are remotely local to us here in New Jersey. Dan, were you aware that we have a 40K store or a GW store now, like 30 minutes away from where we live?
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
That there's a GW store 30 minutes away from where we live now.
Wait, the one in New York?
No. That's New York. I don't count that. No, Aberdeen. It's in Aberdeen Township. It's about 30 minutes from me.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Why would I was there today. Why would I lie about that?
Wait, I'm opening Google's. When did they open? What?
I don't know exactly when. So I found this out. I was at Red Seal Gaming, what was it? Like a Sunday or so ago, playing some Age of Sigmar there, and they had mentioned like, oh yeah, the guy down at the GW shop and all, because he wasn't able to get something in his GW store, but Red Seal did have it. The one guy, obviously, some of the people go to both because they're like 5 minutes apart. He's like, oh, yeah, call over there. Let's see if they have it. Because he's like, I'd rather absolutely make sure, you get your model and all. And I was like, oh, wait, where's this GW? He's like, no, it's literally like down the street. It's like 5 minutes from here. I went there today, picked up a few paints and all that I needed.
How big is it? Is it a big store or no? Like,
none of their stores are big.
Big, yeah.
I don't have exact square footage. You didn't go to Old Red Seal. It's like Old Red Seal Gaming.
How many tables do they have? Is the better probably way to put that.
Okay. Let me think. I want to say it was 2 or 3, and then they had the separate in the front demo sort of table with like the divider and like 40K on one side and like Age of Sigmar on the other. They have like 2 display cases in the front. They don't actually have like a little table where the guy sits. There's actually a couple kids or I shouldn't say kids, guys, a little bit younger than me, but guys in there doing some painting. I think they had just maybe finished up a game by the time I got there. I got there like 1:30 or something. But it's like one side is 40K stuff, the other side is mostly Age of Sigmar, and then the back is sort of like specialist games. Nothing for Titanicus, but they had like Warcry stuff. They had Aeronautica, different things like that. Their paint rack was pretty full. A few missing pieces, but
I can't find it on Google Maps.
If you look Games Workshop, just do that in Google Maps and just look south.
Yeah,
look south of us.
I see one in Matawan. Not Matawan, sorry.
It's right next to Matawan. That's the store. Because that's right next to Matawan. Yeah. You totally found it.
It just says Warhammer. Doesn't even say Games Workshop.
Well, because their stores are Warhammer.
They're now branded Warhammer.
Yeah, the stores don't say Games Workshop. They've always said
called Warhammer. I thought they were called Games Workshop.
No, they rebranded years ago.
Oh yeah, it's next to a little gym. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, but I'd never actually been in one in this country. I'd went into one when I was in Scotland years and years and years ago. But I was like, let me go down there. Let me see. It's nice. The guy's real nice.
Let's see what the drive is.
It's kind of crap that they have to close for 30 minutes for his lunch and he has to kick people out, but that's not his doing. That's, the higher ups telling him he has to do that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's a what? Oh, because yes, I'm taking the fucking bus. God damn it, Google Maps.
From you, it'd probably be, I would say
30 minutes.
Yeah, I'd say, it shouldn't be much more than 30, maybe 35.
Well, yeah, it's giving me like this route is trolls. It's the fastest because it's also like 9:30 at night.
Yeah. Turnpike down to
That's
Parkway, and then follow that to like
interesting.
118.
I'll play 30K down there if they like do a little event and shit. Okay,
I don't
If
think
they
I
okay.
don't
let
think they
you.
do events in their stores. Not
Oh
really.
yeah, probably not. You know what I do wish? Oh God, I know this is going on a tangent, but I was kind of talking about this with I think one of the 30K guys. I was like, I fucking wish we had a Warhammer World on like the East Coast. I don't care if it was New York or like New Jersey, like near IKEA, like those big warehouse areas. Like, could you imagine if the Toys R Us that went defunct turned into a Warhammer World?
Remember at one point there were battle bunkers and they all went away. You
The
know,
one, sorry, say that again.
do you remember the old battle bunkers?
Yeah, I remember the battle bunkers. Yeah,
Yeah, that used to essentially be the Warhammer world, if you want to call it that, in the U.S., and
I
then they
would
just
love.
all
I would
disappeared.
love. Yeah, I would love to build like a war. I wonder if business opportunity. I wonder if they would. I could get a loan or maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
It wouldn't.
I
I
think the
don't
rent
think it would
was
make
so.
money. It would be
No, it
so
wouldn't make
so
money.
tough,
No.
especially in this current
Yeah,
environment. No, it's super super tough.
but there's still the Toys R Us near IKEA. You know what I'm talking about, right? The one
Yeah.
by
I know
the
I know
one
what you're
by.
talking about.
It's still there's still nothing there. I think it maybe turned into a Home Goods or something. But like
Yeah, I
that was
don't
like
know.
prime real estate. I checked out the rent there is actually not that bad. Well,
Hmm.
it's tens of
Not
thousands of
that
dollars per
bad,
month.
says the New Jersey resident.
Yeah, tens of thousands of dollars. No, because they get a lot of tax breaks around that area. Um, because it's near the airport. So they get a lot of incentives from the government because of tourism. But shit, man, a Warhammer World right there. That'd be kind of cool. Could you
Yeah.
imagine? And it's like the perfect spot too. The parking lot's big. You build a Bugman's Brewery in there.
They've never released this information as far as I know, looking at their financials. But I'm always curious. Does Warhammer World actually make the money? I don't know the amount of money it takes for them to have that. Obviously, they also have it because that's where they do all their stuff. Like, it's a good
Yeah.
studio space for them. But I don't know if my guess. I bet running that loses them money.
The
You
thing is, they
know.
also have events, a lot of different events in there. They have people like Henry Cavill coming in, which definitely that in itself like brings you like more people.
Yeah.
I
Their,
don't
their
know.
events
I
may even
wish
make
they
the money, but
would.
on day to day, I would be surprised. I bet it keeps itself like afloat, and then
Yeah,
maybe the events push it over. But something like that can be
I
a lost
wonder.
leader for
I
you.
would love to see. I would love to see the financials. Um, because honestly, if I even if it was just staying afloat and I wasn't making a profit, um, I wouldn't mind like later on in my life running a Warhammer World in my like 40s and 50s.
Well, but there's so many other nuanced thoughts that have to go into that as to why like they wouldn't. It would be more likely
Yeah,
to
no, no,
run
I
like
know.
just run like the coolest game store you could think of. That is
Very true.
that is a potential realistic goal. Because the other thing is like if they don't want that, they just no. You know,
Yeah, exactly. And you have to kind of follow their rules, which suck.
well, absolutely. I mean, it is their rules. They'd have to allow it and all. So no. Do a game store and then hate all the card kids that you have to let in.
Exactly. I was gonna say that I have to let the card kids in because that's how you actually make a profit in Magic the Gathering.
Well,
Ugh.
that
Or
well, Flesh and
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Blood does quite well now. For stores that do it.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I think still top is Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon.
Oh, that's top, and it's always going to be top. But when you want
Yeah.
a bit of an, I'll say older, more mature audience, Magic obviously hits that, but also like Flesh and Blood does now because that's definitely
Okay.
been growing in popularity.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
It's a cool game.
It's
I've
funny.
looked through it. It's
I
neat.
know we're going off a tangent, but like
There we
I
are.
don't know if you knew this. Before COVID hit, my wife was actively telling me to do this too. I was actually looking for storefronts because I was actually
Yep.
thinking of quitting teaching
Oh
and
yeah.
getting a bank loan. This was even when we bought the house because we still have. Don't rob me, please. We still have a lot of capital in the bank.
Yeah.
That's kind of just sitting because we don't want to invest it because of the volatile. The market is fucking. To say it's volatile is the easiest way to put it.
Yeah.
So we're not investing shit, but we still have a lot of capital. So for the longest time, and this was before COVID hit, obviously, when we bought the house, um, we were like, oh, maybe we should maybe open a game shop, and then COVID hit, and I was still thinking about it, but COVID kind of just turned everything on its nose.
Agreed.
Like
And
absolutely
that
not,
would have been.
not sustainable.
I mean, Red Seal actually opened essentially in a pandemic, but for most stores and most things, that kind of stuff doesn't work.
Yeah, the
It
death
worked for
knell,
them,
yeah.
and on their podcast, they kind of discussed that at one point and talked about why it did work. I don't know if they still do their podcast. I'm curious. I haven't listened in a little bit, but that's me.
But yeah, no, that was actually a little side note about me. Yeah, I was actually going to start a game store.
It sounds like the coolest idea. I will absolutely admit, it sounds like the coolest
No, it
idea.
doesn't. No. It doesn't. I'm realistic, Dave. I know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm,
Like to
I'm
do it
not.
well,
No,
it
let
is
me
work. It
let me
absolutely is work.
I
And
am
let's
usually very optimistic. Yeah,
yeah,
no, I
and
know how hard and how awful and how in the red you are constantly. But the reason I was thinking it honestly was just because even before COVID, teaching was already getting um,
rough.
rough, and now it's even like I'm actively looking honestly for another district or another
Yeah,
job, and it's I'm just not happy. So I'd rather be working my ass off, but doing something I love, like the gun store. I loved working at the gun store. Period.
yeah.
It made less money, but honestly, the boss, the people there, the coworkers, the administration, the people, it was just all good. I loved it. The atmosphere was just better.
What I will
Sorry.
say, and this might not be true, but this kind of feels true to me. Like the person who truly runs like the game store is probably, it's kind of like that thing of like you think it's going to be cool and then you find out you don't have the time for it. I feel it's like
Yeah.
when you run the game store, the last thing you probably get a chance to do is a lot of gaming because there's all
Yeah.
this other stuff you have to
Yup.
do. Maybe if you get super successful, you can hire all these other people to do stuff for you. But I feel that's the kind of thing of like where then you're probably playing the least amount of games of anyone
It's
because
more
like
about
all
like
the
to see people
responsibilities are
playing
yours.
games. Yeah, it's like more of I like to see people happy and playing games. I
Yeah,
kind of feed off that energy. I'm very what's the word I'm looking for? Uh,
Ambivert?
empathetic.
is that what it is? No, that's not the
Well,
word.
there's empathy. That's your
Yeah,
ability
it's
to
weird.
feel for others.
Yeah,
So
it's just like I kind of feel off
there's
their energy, like
introverts,
happy energy.
extroverts, and ambiverts. Ambiverts take the energy of the people around them, and like that's their energy. So it might be
Well,
that.
definitely that 1,000. Wow. Okay, I
That
never knew
sounds
that
made
word.
up.
That's it.
No,
Sounds
because
made up. But
it's the energy of the the ambient environment.
interesting.
I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna prove it's real.
I'm sure.
I,
I'm sure it
you
is.
know
It just
what?
sounds made up.
Even if it isn't, that very much describes my personality to a scary degree. So I'll take it.
All right. I would be
Makes
remiss
me
if I
space
let
right
us chit chat and never get to the main topic. Luckily,
Okay,
so I
sorry.
do put
Shit.
timestamps in and out for people for this purpose, so they want to skip right to what they might consider the good stuff.
Actual content?
Yeah, this is
What?
content.
Fuck
Me
is going
personally, I listen to tons of podcasts because I have a long drive to work. I have hours
Yeah.
at work when I'm sitting grading and doing other stuff, and no one's there because now I have my own office, so no one's bugging me. So I'll just listen to something where it's just people talking. They're talking about whatever, and that's something. So it doesn't
Yeah.
bother me, but I know some other people kind of like it when it gets to the point.
Yeah, that's fine.
Why
I
don't
don't
we?
judge.
We'll get to our point now. Then
Yeah, exactly. We don't judge people here.
I judge people all the time. What are you talking about? You judge
I
people
judge Dan.
constantly.
Yeah, fuck you, Steve.
There you go. All right. So, plan for this evening. We found that our paces for Legios, we really can't get through more. We're going to see. One of these points, I bet we won't even make it through 4. But plan for tonight is we're going to go through Mordaxis, Audax, Magna, and Vulturum. And just as before, we're each going to be the essentially main spokesman for one of these. Go through a little bit of the lore and the story in there. None of these are terribly long, so if you want to read through it and not just take our garbled thoughts on it, that's fine. We're then going to go through the actual rules and have a discussion from there. And Dan got very excited about Mordaxis.
Yes, I did.
So tell us
Yeah.
all about these traitors,
Alright,
boys.
So little fluff. Very much like I forgot who the other Legio we talked about, Dave, but you'll probably remember when I mentioned it. Very much like the other Legio we talked about last time, they weren't really traitor until the techno virus. Although fun fact,
Interfector, right? I think Interfector fit
I
that
think it was
way.
Interfector. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
about right. Now
That sounds right.
Because they got
They
infected
did serve
with it.
along the word bearers, which how that didn't become traitor immediately is beyond me. But their Forge World kind of sucks. Their Forge World is essentially a toxic wasteland, which is most Forge Worlds. But theirs in general is just it's like I see your toxic wasteland, but what if it could be more toxic? And the reason is mostly because they've been fighting against roving orc warbands even during the heresy. So anyway, yeah. So basically, during the Great Crusade, they really don't have a lot of victories to their name. Again, very weird. They're very little renowned. These guys are not the most renowned legion. Um, However, again, they worked with Logar, which again, very interesting that they didn't go immediately techno or immediately traitor. But essentially, what had happened was that following the War Master's betrayal and the Horus Heresy, a extremely virulent technovirus was unleashed and basically taken back to the Forge World by the God Engines. Um, and the Titans got bad. Like when I say a technovirus, it's not like Interfector where they went crazy. The Titans got super corrupted, and these are one of the very first, not the very first. I think the first one is actually Vulpa.
That's
That
what you
was
said,
the first
yeah.
corrupted Titan. Yeah, but these are definitely like when we're talking corruption, like tails and shit. These guys, I mean, they're Titans. Like what does it say here? There's a vile miasma of viscous black surrounding each Titan that ooze oily substance whenever they're wounded. There seems to be organic writhing matter underneath the armor. Um, there was another thing here. Yeah, they're when they fell, they fell. That's the nice way to put that. So yeah, they're extremely toxic. I think they went to Nurgle. Hold on, does it
It
tell me
sounds
here?
like it.
Like I know they're Dark Mechanicum. Like they went straight Dark Mechanicum, but
If they're not Nurgle,
yeah, I want to
then
say they
someone
went
missed the
to.
point.
I want to say they're Nurgle.
I'll look it up while you talk.
Yeah. Well, the reason I say Nurgle is also because of their traits and their war gear, which is super Nurgly. But all right, so let's talk about their traits and stuff. They're known as Legio Mordaxis, the Death Dealers. By the way, sorry if I'm coughing a little bit. I'm fighting. This is the season for allergies, and my body,
Your body
likes to
hates
play
you.
games. Yeah, remember? I don't know. We did podcasts back in November when I lost my voice entirely. So
We did.
Legio trait, technotoxins. So this is subtract 1 from the result of all repair rolls made for units within 4 inches of a Legio Mordaxis Titan. In
Spicy.
addition, at the start of the end phase, any Titan, friend or foe, that is within 4 inches of a Legio Mordaxis Titan and has suffered 1 point of critical damage suffers D3 strength 5 hits on a random location, ignoring void shields, because you're 4 inches away, and the model can only be affected by this rule once per round, and Legio Mordaxis Titans are not affected by this rule. So the reason it says friend or foe is in case you have another Legio with you, but Legio Mordaxis, they're not affected by their own rules.
So they're slapping you with their weird like tentacles.
Yeah, with their
out.
no, but even their aura, their miasma. So let's talk about the first part of this. First of all, 4 inches of a Legio Mordaxis Titan -1 to repair rolls. That's fucking amazing. If you're playing a strictly, remember they're traitors, so if you take my favorite stratagem, warp
Which
jump, favorite stratagem. No, but if you play a melee or a brawler heavy list where you like reavers, I could see this being a reaver heavy list where you take some very quick brawling like reaver titans with Gatling blasters, melta cannons, power fists, maybe even a warp missile. Just to get the automatic crit on something, right? Or not the automatic, but the very easy crit on something. Just a -1 repair roll sucks. That's horrible. Because you can't, wait. Is it a natural 6 to bring up shields, or is it a roll of a 6?
It's a roll of a 6.
So yeah, you can't even bring back,
Yeah.
Yeah, oof.
Yeah, they don't have like an auto pass written in there. It's just on a roll of 6.
Now it's 4 inches. That's its caveat, but like, you can easily, and like they're corrupted titans. There's a corruption that allows you to push for free every turn, no matter what. So I mean, like, I love. So that's the first half of the rule. I'll go to the second half after you guys.
And I
What do you guys think?
I got some bad news for you on that part, though.
I like all the things you
Trait
said,
number.
but I can tell you didn't read the second rule yet. This is your first reading of
No,
it.
the second rule is
Read it. Read it and cry.
injured to pain.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Read it out
We'll get to
loud.
that. Wait, hold on, but
I
let
want
me
to
talk
hear
about the
your
second
tears.
part of technotoxin. Let me talk about the second part of technotoxin. Hold on.
Go back to it in a second. Read in your
Oh, God
pain.
damn it. All right. So they're also inured to pain. Legion Mordaxis Titans. Oh.
Read it out loud. That way I
Yeah, no.
can't hear your tears if
I
you're
read it
quiet.
in my mind, and I don't want to. Okay. Legion Mordaxis Titans do not half their speed when they suffer a hit from quake weapons that is not deflected by their shields. Nor do
They're
they
not slowed
pivot.
down. Yay.
Yeah, they don't
But-
slow down. But, however, a Legion Mordaxis Titan cannot declare power to locomotors or power to stabilizers.
They don't speed up either.
Yep.
They just
Okay, so warp.
Go.
Okay, so the warp jump is still
warp jump works.
Warp jump still works,
Like once.
which is still a good thing. And I would still take Reavers. Reavers, what, native move 6?
8 of 6 is not
Yeah.
bad.
That's still not bad. So you take warp jump, and I'm just trying to look at the mutations real quick.
Okay. When you say warp jump, are you talking about warp displacement?
Displacement.
Warp displacement.
Okay,
Sorry,
just making
yeah.
sure I didn't miss a stratagem.
No,
Okay.
it's warp displacement.
But that's still it's only
Let's see
2d6.
here, I'm just checking something.
Like one strat per Pokemon, it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why I
Yeah, you
said
really
to read
can't-
that there is I didn't want it to be where you start discussing like, oh man, here's all these cool things,
Yeah.
and the second one shuts it all down. They're
sucks.
they're at odds with one another. There's I want to
Yeah.
be up close and next to you to make it where you're not repairing. You're taking my damage that I give you and you're stuck with it. But if you're not if your opponent is not trying to push forward, you can't. You're going to be slow.
Okay. You know what? Okay. I still like it only because if you are in the position to actually be up close with someone, it is exceptionally powerful. I wouldn't be close to them, but I'm trying to think if you can not push, but increase the movement through mutations. I'm just checking real quick. Let me see here. The material shield, pestilence cloud. Here we go. I knew it. So check this out. Corruption, pestilence cloud. If Legios Mordaxis Titan takes this mutation, the above effects do not apply. Instead, the range of this technotoxin effect increases to 6 inches instead of 4 inches. A Legios Mordaxis Titan does not need the Unholy Vigor base mutation to take Pestilent Cloud, though it does need a base mutation to do so. So you need a base mutation, and you can take Pestilence Cloud, and now it's a 6-inch aura.
Okay, Pestilence Cloud. Why don't they have these additional mutations in alphabetical order?
I was thinking
That
the
would
same thing.
make sense.
I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, he said Pete, where the hell's that? I'm like, oh, it's right next to O and then before I.
And it's not by points either.
Yeah. It's
not
by
easy.
random what they like the look of.
Chaos!
This would be the book where you should do that. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Um,
So, okay, and you take that mutation, which it seems like you really want to. That's a 6-inch aura, which on a 4x4 board does actually matter, right? I mean, that's a Reaver's
It
what,
helps.
a
It
105
definitely
by
helps.
95. Yeah, you know what? I know it sucks that you have to be close and you can't push to go faster. But having the
Still full
6-inch
stride.
aura.
Yeah, you can still do a full stride.
Oh yeah, you can still do full stride too, so you can still double move. Yeah, no, I still like it. No, still like it. I still think it's really super powerful.
It's not that I don't like it. I think it is good, and I think it can be good. But the fact that I want to be close and I can't do some of the tricks or natural abilities in the game that help me get close hurts it. I think it's going to be really good. And let's face it, where you really probably want this rule of making it harder to repair is not turn 1 and 2. It's turn 3 and on when someone's actually really starting to take damage.
Yeah.
So that's when you have the ability to be close, but it does just hurt that it's harder to get close and no power to stabilizer. So you're also limited with your turning. So if someone's more agile than you,
that's why
you might not be able to get them.
That's why I kind of said Reavers and not like Warlords. Although again, remember warp displacement does fuck around with that.
Warp displacement's a one-time use of 2d6 though. That's all.
I know, but nobody also lets you pivot and stuff. And you could, sorry, you could also play it in any phase as well. So you could play it right before you charge. You could play it when you activate to shoot, and then you warp displace, and then you shoot. There's multiple different ways to pull it.
I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying
I know.
it's
I'm
You
saying,
know.
listen, am I saying it's the best trait? No. Am I saying it's better than a lot of the other ones we've seen? Yes, definitely. And then the second part of it, by the way, is still also pretty damn good. Um, if you're within 4 inches or 6 inches in this case, if you want to take the mutation, if you're within 4 inches or 6 inches, and someone has taken a critical hit, D3 strength 5 hits on a random location. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's a free what the hell's the Warlord tit gun? The hell's that thing called? Point defense batteries? No.
Yeah. Was it Audax?
Audax.
Audax
Audax
defense.
defense.
Audax defense, yeah. D3 strength 5 hits. They could do nothing. It could hit the critical and kill it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like it. I like
Strength
it.
5 has an
So the first
ability to
trait-
get through and hurt someone. They're
Exactly.
small enough or they have some damage.
So that's the first trait. The second trait we kind of already went over, but I do want to. So yes, they can't declare power to locomotors or powers to stabilizers, which suck. They can't really turn or boost their move. So again, Reavers, Warhounds, you could kind of get away with a Warlord. I would, if you listen, I would skip the Warlord and probably go to a War Master, because then if you're going to go big, at least do the War Master, and that's what you're warp displacing. But honestly, Reavers and Warhounds probably are your best bet. I do want to point out though the not halving their speed. Or not moving when hit with Quake. I play with Quake a lot. I usually always take a Quake cannon in all of my lists, no matter what, unless I'm playing with the War Master, because it's just not points. So I always take a Quake cannon, mostly because I find its value when a shield is knocked out. Halving someone's speed or pivoting them on the spot is way too fucking invaluable sometimes on a movement game. You know, you hit a Warlord shield down and you hit him with a Quake cannon, they pivot. Now they're not shooting their top guns at you.
Yeah.
Period. It's a very invaluable tool. And the fact that they just don't take that movement half, or they don't flip, like don't turn. Now they can get pushed back, by the way. I'm noticing. Hold on. Half their speed, they suffer. And Dave can correct me on this, but nor do they pivot. Yeah. On a roll of
they
1
can get
to 2,
pushed back.
4,
That's
5.
not stopped.
So they can absolutely get pushed back.
But it won't change their facing or what they were lined up
Exactly. So honestly, I like this rule as well. It helps that there's, you know what? It helps that they can't push. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You can't be.
They needed the first part if they were going to give them the second part. I just don't think they had to give them the second part. One quick caveat to something you said or fix. Warp displacement does not let you change your facing.
No, but what I'm saying is, you can play it in any turn of the game. So
no, I know, but you said you said you could turn and stuff like that. Warp displacement does not let you turn.
When you play it, I should say, depending on when you play it. That was my little star comment, I should say.
So you could warp displacement and then move.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Your base traits.
Star when you play it. Because you could also, for example, like I take the Princeps trait, Swift Killer, right? So I can warp displacement and then Swift Killer when I attack, for example.
No, that's fine. But I just wanted to make sure it was clear that warp displacement does not let you rotate.
No. Sorry if I made that unclear.
That's all right.
The stratagem is a Legio specific stratagem. It is unstoppable. It is 3 stratagem points, which is all right. So this stratagem can be purchased by any Legio Mordaxis player. Play this stratagem at the start of any damage control phase. What the hell's the damage control phase?
When you try to repair.
That's what I thought. Okay. But before any repair rolls are made, so this is okay if you're in the orange, for example. Until the end of the phase, add 2 to the Servitor Clave characteristic for every friendly Legion Mordaxis Titan, and add 1 to the result of
And add 1 to the result of the repair rolls. You got to actually finish this thing. Finish your thoughts and then talk about what you like about it.
No, because my brain went off on so what I'm comparing this to is the Furion trait of firing extra weapon for an extra heat, and the reason they're both 3 stratagem points. The reason I'm thinking of the Furion trait that I play a lot is because this requires an inordinate amount of skill and timing to play. Like, if you play that Furion trait at the wrong time, you've just burnt 3 stratagem points doing fucking nothing. Same thing with this. This can be absolutely, well, not devastating is not the right word.
No, that would not be the right word.
Yeah, it is a hard
like
right.
The opposite of devastating.
Yeah, this is absolutely
yourself.
defensive, I guess. No, this can really, really, really save your
It's a
bacon.
bailout.
Yeah. But like you have to play it at the right time. Like, oh, if one Titan's damaged, maybe you don't want to play this. But like, if you have, for example, if you have a Warhound in orange, a Warlord that's crit, right? You have all these oranges and all these crits.
You're still
Actually, no, but
taking
it
all that
started
bad
to-
first.
You're still taking the damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I
I guess if you have crit, if you have like multiple Titans that are damaged or void shields that are, let's say you have 2 Warhounds that are void shields down, right? And you have a Warlord that's super crit, you play this, that helps. It's yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. I know I'm like
honestly,
making sense
I
as I
really
say
like
this.
it. I think if you're
I like
taking
it. It's not bad. I'm not
Mordaxis-
trying to.
No, agreed. I think if you're taking Mordaxis, I don't see the reason why you wouldn't want this. You want to get up close and personal. There's no distance on any of that. So repairing is a very big important thing that you need to be able to do. Your power, you shouldn't really necessarily be so much in red and oranges because you can't push anything.
Exactly.
So your generation of heat is overall compared to other Titans a lot lower. It doesn't mean it can't happen, but it's a lot lower. So you're probably using this to repair your critical damage, put your shields back up. I could see you using this after maybe a really painful turn 1-2, somewhere in there because you lost shields on certain Titans that really matter. I don't think this is a Legio that really necessarily wants to run a lot of Warlords, so therefore it's easier to get hurt. I could see you using this later to, even if it only really helps the one, but that's the one that you need to live, and you can take off all the critical damage on it. So,
I
think this
like
is very good.
And like I said, I like this trait. It's very, again, it reminds me of the Legio Fury trait because you have to know when to play it. This one requires like, you can't just play it when you want, willy-nilly. You got to actually play this and actually be effective. I like
And
it
this
though.
one also scales too
Yes.
to bigger game
Yes.
sizes very nicely. Because whereas the Furians one is a maniple, this is all your Mordaxis Titans.
Wait, it's not a maniple? Hold on.
No, I was just reading that.
Whoa. Okay, this
It's
makes,
not maniple.
okay. Oh, okay. Hello, nurse. I did want to start a loyalist Legio, but I don't know. This is kind of calling to me a little bit.
Just make your Custodes traitors, and then you'll be fine.
The joke is I wanted to start a storm, which is very close to this, by the way. The idea of like repair rolls and defense and stuff like that. But this is very interessante. I assumed it was maniple. I didn't assume it was all Legio
No,
Mordaxis
they do
Titans.
not
That's
say
really
maniple.
good. Yeah, that completely evaded me. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I like the stratagem. 3, but it's worth it. All right.
Absolutely, it's worth it.
War gear. And this is why I wanted to talk about Mordaxis, by the way. This fun fact, none
Yep.
of these reasons
This
are
is
the reason
why I knew you
wanted
wanted to.
Yeah. Fun fact, this is not none of these fucking reasons are the reason I wanted to talk about Mordaxis. It's actually this. And that is the Legio specific war gear, which is toxin nodes. Yeah, no, these guys are Nurgle. They have to be Nurgle. I'm sorry. Like, right? Am I crazy? They have to be Nurgle.
They're a Nurgle. Can't imagine that.
Any Legio Mordaxis Titan armed with a blast 3-inch weapon may take a toxin node for 20 points. Each weapon so it's 3-inch, so yeah, definitely Reavers. Each weapon a Titan is armed with must be upgraded separately, so that's always. Decrease the strength value of the weapon by 1 to a minimum of 4, and replace the blast 3 inches with a blast 5-inch trait.
That's
So, hold on. When I was
Bullshit
talking to Steve,
incoming.
wait, bullshit, massive amount of horse shit about to come in. A maniple that I love running with Furians because they have the Auspex, right? Is the Mandatum. What's the one where you ignore line of sight with the Warbringer if you have War?
Arcus.
Arcus,
Arcus,
which
because
is
you're
my
cloaking shot.
favorite fucking model is Arcus, right? Because I ignore one of the -1s so I can hit on 4s. Very cool. But booty cakes. Take the Arcus Maniple with a triple volcano cannon Warbringer, and now you're shooting 3 5-inch pipe plates, ignoring line of sight. With Warhounds getting up close within 4 inches, making it harder for them to repair shields. I was thinking about that, and I'm like, that's a really, really nasty wombo combo.
wait. What weapons are you putting on? You said a Warbringer. What are you putting on it?
Bellicosa up top.
Bellicosa is
Bellicosa
5 inch
up top.
already.
And then
Not
2
the
volcano
not the
cannon
Reaver
arms.
sized ones.
No, the bellicose on top is a warlord on the shoulders.
But the
So it's got a
Reaver
5-inch.
armed
Oh, okay.
And the
volcanoes
Reaver
are
arm
only
volcanoes.
3-inch.
Or
So that's
I mean,
a strength
it.
12, and then with this upgrade to strength 9 blast.
and you stick him in who cares? And then you stick him behind terrain, so he never gets shot the entire game unless you outflank some lancers. And he just lobs shots at 1,000,000 inches across the board because he ignores line of sight. Now, sure, he hits on 5s, which kind of suck. But who gives a shit? Like, they're 5-inch pipe plates. They're gonna hit something eventually. Or you put the Quake Cannon on top and you do split fire and you put the Quake Cannon into some Knights and you put the Volcano Cannon into something else. Who gives? Point is, you have 3 pie plates, which is insanity.
And don't forget, in an Arcus Maniple, if Warhounds have sight, it only goes D6 inches.
Exactly.
And on a 5-inch blast, it gives you a 2.5 radius. Combine that with the size of a base, you have to roll a 5 or a 6 to miss.
Even
Yeah.
I think even a 5 still fucking hits a Warlord.
It depends,
Like if you get a good
depends on the
scatter,
direction.
yeah, it depends on
Depends
the,
on
but if you get like a
direction, yeah.
sideways direction, a sideways, I don't even think you miss.
Because a Warhound
Um,
is just over an inch, and then they have to roll a 5 to miss a Warhound.
Yeah. And probably a 6 to miss a Warlord. So this is amazing. By the way, fun fact: if you really want to have fun, then you corrupt the goddamn thing with a Frozen Soul.
Frozen Soul.
Yep. And so, it's. I was thinking about this when this book first came out. I'm like, how many big and then the other fucking stupid idea was take a Warhound with double blast guns.
Oh, absolutely.
And okay, it wants to be close. And what's cool about, by the way, people are like, okay, so it's a big blast. If you hit one thing, it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? Yeah, but let's say you're shooting Warhounds, and they have to be base to base to link up their shields. If you're hitting them and the dots up, that's 3 hits. Because it's gonna be 2 on the first and 1 on the other. So yeah, I love it. I love it. This is amazing. Yeah. Any comments on this, guys? Before I move on to print caps?
I do like
I don't
it.
know if you're either the second or the third person that I've talked to that's like, oh my god, I want to run a Warbringer with 3 volcanoes, both the little ones upgraded with this, because it looks like a fun build.
Yeah. It will be fun. I don't necessarily know how great and wonderful it will be, because let's face one thing, you're adding 40 points to the cost of your Titan immediately, because it's 20 points a gun. We talked about before of like, oh, you shouldn't get nearly as hot because you can't push and stuff like that. You're rolling
triple
at least 3 reactor die a turn. You could get real hot real fast.
And that's why you have Frozen Soul, Dave. That's why you have Frozen Soul. You gotta mutate him for the War Master.
I don't know Frozen Soul off the top of my head. What does that do?
Frozen Soul is essentially
Gives you an extra 2 dice on your repair that are specifically for heat.
For heat.
Okay,
Yeah.
but that doesn't help if I rolled way too hot the previous round. I'm gonna explode before I get
But
to
if you're
roll.
behind terrain,
Right,
who's
but you
shooting
don't. You have 1 turn of accumulation at a time, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Instead of having
So you're rolling
2 turns where it's slowly
Warbringer's
creeping up,
rolling
it's
4
like
dice.
a turn of pushing at a time.
It's rolling 4 dice plus the 2 additional for Frozen Soul specifically for heat. So that's on average 3 heat that you're healing a Hearn.
And
Which is what a typical turn would give you.
yes. Meanwhile, you've also added now 55 points to your Titan.
I'll take it for 3 pie plates. I'll fucking take it. 3.
I mean, hell, you know what? Throw in another 25 at that point and give him the tracker on top, so his carapace weapon's an arc instead of a channel.
Oh my god.
Just go all in.
I would just fucking give him a Quake Cannon at that point and give him split fire every turn. Oh, you have Knights? All right. Quake Cannon on the Knights, Volcano Cannons on something else. Like, at that point, you just Quake Cannon something and then you pie plate them. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It's expensive, don't get me wrong, and you could absolutely overspend on this, but it's not harming. It's not going to harm you immediately.
I like
All
it
right.
in terms of spend on the Warbringer more than something smaller, because at least you're more survivable.
Yeah, like a
and you're
Warhound.
bigger.
Yeah.
Like on a Warhound, you put an extra 40 points on that Warhound. It's going to feel real bad when he blows up, and he's going to blow up because he's a Warhound.
You know what you do? You take a War Master and you give him nipple plasma.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah.
I hate you. I hate you.
so much.
Oh wait, it gets better. You give them nipple
Oh, God.
plasma guns that hit on 2s because they're +1 to hit outside of range. So 2 pie plates. So that's 4 pie plates coming out of the nipple guns. Fucking
Oh
dumb.
God, why?
I didn't even think about that until I thought about the War Master. I'm like, wait
the
a minute.
plasma blast
The War
guns.
Master has plasma guns. Yeah, take
Yeah.
plasma blast, and it gets +1 to hit outside of in its long range. So you hit on 2s. Fucking
You could
nuts.
summarize all of Dan Titanicus to you warp displacement, and you bring a War Master with plasma nipples.
It's always no. That's just my recent because it's either that or Regia Maniple or Arcus. I run a couple different Maniples.
No, you do.
Yeah,
I was trying to
but
see what you bring on
my
Saturday.
now new love is the War Master because I just been loving playing with Chunky Boy. By the way, little side note before I go to the pre-cup streams, Steve, I'm playing a game on Friday. You'll love this. Everyone died. It was a
Nice.
rolling
I'm
in
sure not true.
nuclear fire in the middle, right? That kept getting bigger and bigger, right?
Oh God, it was that scenario.
Wait, no, it gets worse. On an arid planet, and the main
No.
objective of the game was a singular objective in the center of the table.
God,
So,
I love the war card. Those
By
cards.
turn 5, no one survived. It was a tie, 5-5, because of our secondaries. Yeah, that was amazing. It's just they reminded me of that real quick because of the War Master. All right, Princeps traits. We'll go through this quickly because
Princeps.
they're not. Princeps. It's Princeps.
It's a principes.
Yes, it's Princeps. It's Princeps. Anyway, the Princeps Titan ignores the MIU feedback and the Princeps wounded damage effects. Okay, that's not bad. That's dulled mind. Again, don't roll on these. You get to choose. If you're going to choose, that's not a bad trait. This one's hilarious, though. The Harbinger of Decay. Okay, another totally Nurgle, please. Models within 4 inches of the Princeps Titan suffers D3 +1 strength 7 hits from the Technotoxin trait instead of D3 strength 5 hits. What the fuck? Okay. So you just take a small Gatling fire worth of hits. I would take this trait, especially if you're running a Reaver, because it's a stupid question. Is it only one Titan or every Titan that's in range?
Princeps. It's his Titan.
No, but like I'm checking really quick Technotoxin.
They can only be affected once per it, but it's
But you're gonna
any
hit
that are
multiple
within
Titans.
range.
Oh yeah, no, that's amazing. Especially if you make it 6 inches with the mutation, and run him over like a melee trait and charge him in. Oh, that's great. That's great. I love it. And then Proud Protector, once per round, when a friendly Legio Mordaxis Titan within 4 inches of the Princeps suffers a direct, devastating, or critical hit, the Princeps Titan may immediately push the reactor to make an attack with one of its weapons. Whoa.
Okay. Read full things before you start letting
Yeah, I
you
know.
get excited. Read through it.
I was getting excited because the mind reads quicker than the mouth. Holy shit, that's really good. And it's once per round. Oh, yeah. All right, so again, if a Titan within 4 inches of the Princeps suffers a direct, devastating, or critical hit, the Princeps Titan may immediately push their reactor to make an attack with one of its weapons. I like that. I like that a lot.
It's a nice little retaliatory strike.
And
I like
honestly, I was kind of making fun of me taking Regia, but imagine Regia with this. They're sharing shields with Warhounds. Warhounds eventually will get taken out, or they'll take devastating, or they'll take damage, I should say. And now the Warlord's fucking shooting its top gun or its arm guns at you in retaliation. That's really cool.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig.
Their
And
personal
then, of
traits
course,
are good.
by the way, yeah, and the second and the third one are fantastic in my opinion. I should point out, by the way, the color scheme is amazing. The color scheme is straight up amazing.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about color schemes. We probably should. It's a
Yeah,
nice
no,
purple.
I only
Purple
talk about
blues.
them when they're relevant. To be quite honest, I don't think there's any other purple ones. I very rarely see purple Legios.
Solid purple?
There's
No, there's a lot of
Legios,
Legios
but they
with purple.
don't have rules.
But no, they're like a nice purple with black and gold trim. I will point out, I just realized, I don't know, a little fluff thing about this. So they're like best friends with the word bearers. Take a look at their knee pad, the Warlord's the Warlord's knee pad on the I guess the left hand knee pad.
Yeah.
That's word bearer script. That's fucking
Yeah.
religious text. Also, fun fact, they're running my favorite warlord. Plasma, Gatling, laser blasters. That's my favorite combo. Yeah. I'm glad I did this Legion.
You said before increase the range of that to 6 inches. What's increasing it to 6 inches? I don't think anything does.
No, it's a corruption. It's
There's a corruption for Corrupted
hold
Titans.
yeah. It's the second half of that corruption that's specific to the Legio. It's on page 165. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, I see it. No, yeah,
we need an
Pestilence
episode just on
Cloud.
the corruptions.
Yeah,
It
I
doesn't
think
do the
Second half.
first
there's
effect.
so much to cover there.
Yeah, it just increases
Right.
it to 6. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that
All right,
cover that actually does matter. That's an extra 2 inches in all directions. So like, yeah. No, I like them. I'm glad I did this. I was excited to do the Legio just for the one thing, but after reading it like a little bit more, just kind of look at the color scheme and the kind of different play styles, I still want to try a Loyalist faction, but this is actually a fun ass Legio to try. Like this is not a Legio that I would not be I'd hesitate to not do. They're fucking cool.
You know, you are allowed to take your Titans and play them as a different Legio so you can try out and see how they feel and stuff like that. You can take it for a
Absolutely
test drive.
not. They have nameplates on them, Dave. They are historically.
That sounds like a you problem. That's what that sounds like.
I couldn't even finish the fucking sentence. They're historically accurate. God damn it.
To the future.
Even Farouk is a Legio Furian.
All right, so what I'm hearing then is you just have to rebase them. You're
no,
familiar
don't
with that. You know how to rebase
The
them.
podcasters don't know. The listeners don't know about that story, Dave. They don't
Okay.
need to know.
I'll tell it later.
How many bases, Dan?
No. It's not that, Steve. I don't think you know the story, Steve.
The clear bases?
No.
Oh God, he
No.
doesn't know. No, we don't. We don't talk about bases.
And Disney's coming after us. Great job, Dan.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, Disney. Yeah, no.
If that mouse
this is
tries to claim this,
If we have
it's on
time,
you.
one podcast, Steve will probably bring it up and I'll talk about
Absolutely.
what happened. But yeah, no, it's
Overall, I think they seem fun. I don't necessarily
Yeah.
know if they're going to be super strong or anything like that, but I think they're fun. I think the rules they have work pretty well together. Not being able to move faster or pivot more hurts a little bit, but there's some workarounds for that. But if you can get close to your opponent, especially if you are on your Princeps, I think you do want to take that cloud, the poison cloud, whatever it is, so that way you do have more range. I think you absolutely you could very strongly look at their Princeps traits to take one of those. I think you could both have fun and do well with this. Absolutely. Are we ready for...
This one is a fan favorite. When Titanicus dropped, so many people were getting ready to run this Legio. Legio Audax, the Ember Wolves. Let's go over a little bit of the history for the Ember Wolves. So they are a legion that was born on Mars, specifically for the Great Crusade. Basically, the Emperor's like, hey, we're expanding, we're fighting all this nasty shit. I want more Titan legions. And this is one of the new legions that was raised specifically for the Great Crusade. So they're a very young Legio in that respect. Because Warhounds are smaller than things such as War Masters, originally the entire Legio was just Warhounds. So scouting roles, they had to be aggressive. They had to either punch up against monstrosities, or they just had fun punching down and wiping out infantry. They were a fairly standard Legio aside from their odd composition. But some stuff happened. So they were supposed to originally be a crusading legion. They get resupplied by Forge Worlds as they went, but they wouldn't have their own personal Forge World to claim as their home. The Fabricator General had other ideas. So when they left Mars, they were given a couple of Explorador ships, stocked with STC patterns, so they could build pretty much all the other Titans. During the Crusade, however, they fought this Xenos Empire known as the Zlazler Empire. And basically,
there's one vowel
they
in that
released.
word.
There's a single vowel, and there's 4 letters after that vowel. But my tongue's not trained for that.
Blah,
Yeah.
blah.
I feel like half those letters are actually silent. They're just there to be there. But
The
yeah, so
Dweller.
they corrupted the STC patterns on the ships, and they lost all the databanks, and they had fragments here and there. From there, though, they were able to retro engineer their warhounds to piece together how to build Titans. Unfortunately, because they only had the warhounds, they could only build things that were warhound adjacent. So they were able to recover the direwolf and the rapier Titan plants. So the direwolf is coming out at some point, maybe eventually. So that'll be cool when that drops. And then the rapier, we don't have anything for that yet, but I'm looking forward to it because that's a light scout titan. I guess a warhound's a medium scout titan, and the direwolf is a heavy scout titan. So following this corruption, they get a little off. They get a little more savage, a little more bloodthirsty. In one campaign, they raise several hives in a world, which wasn't very kosher when you're trying to get people to love the emperor and just burning them all alive. They don't love the emperor when you do that. So they were placed under very heavy censure. They were told that not only were they not intended to get a world, but now they were officially denied the right to ever claim a world, and they would not get their STC patterns repaired or replaced. Whatever they had is what they have, and they'll have to deal with it. And they were not given resupplies, or they were very low on the list for resupply. And they were stationed on the world of Bot, which is where the world eaters are. So they're stuck there on the world eaters planet, and well, the world eaters are kind of savage. The Ember Wolves are kind of savage. They reach a mutual understanding of let's go fuck some shit up. So they fight a lot side by side, and the World Eaters, for those who read the Horus Heresy novels, they might know about this. They have these wonderful things known as, oh my god, I lost the word.
At first, I thought you were quizzing
The
us.
grabby hands.
Grabby.
No, I just
Ursa's claws.
I'm not. Ursa's claws. Yes,
Okay.
I'm not as good as Dan.
I thought that
I'm not
was a quiz,
trained
and I
like
was
you
like,
guys.
wait. No one told me.
No,
told me there'd be
if I was
questions.
smart, I would have played it off as a quiz. I totally could have, and I totally missed the chance. You know, the Ursus claws. As some who read the books know, Lothar Asarin loves to scream, "Fire the Ursus claws!" Basically, they're giant harpoons used in ship-to-ship combat in the void that then drag ships in so that world eaters could more easily board them and destroy everyone on the inside. So they took these things and retrofitted them to fit onto Warhound Titans. And then from there, I guess that pattern was accepted somewhat and spread to the other Legios, because now anyone could have them on their Titans. Yeah, they build up a really good bond, and Audax officially decides that they're going to pledge allegiance to Angron. Angron likes this. They become even better friends. Resupply for the Legion starts getting sent to the Legio, and all of a sudden, you know, the Emperor Wolves are growing in number. Wait, they're not supposed to do that. That's not allowed. The Ministrum gets pretty upset. They put a bunch of formal complaints, but nothing can be done because it's not the Ember Wolves, not Audax, getting resupplies from these Forge Worlds. It's our good old boys, the World Eaters. So yeah, they become very good friends. So when the World Eaters turn, Audax is right there with them. In a campaign, they fight and claim the Forge World of Sarum, and because this is now under World Eater jurisdiction, Audax really explodes after that incident, and they start getting the other patterns and Titans I mentioned. So let's dig into the rules a little bit. Their first trait, and this is the one that has the most words, is called Wolves Among Prey. Unlike other Titan Legios, the Audax relied solely on Scout class Titans, and these rules reflect that. So they can never use a Titan maniple that requires Titans that are scale 7 or higher. Additionally, all Titans that are Legio Audax must be scale 6 or lower. Audax Titans all gain the squadron rule if they don't have it already, and they always form squadrons with other Audax Titans of any type. So that means that even if when the Direwolf does eventually drop, it does not have the squadron rule, you could run squadrons of Direwolves. You could have a mixed squadron of Direwolves and Warhounds. And the Titans can belong to other maniples or be reinforcement Titans. So you could run, say, a Lupercal maniple, reinforce it with a Direwolf, and squadron it in, which means you could share shields and do other things like that. Pretty nice perk. And then the squadrons for Legio Audax could be up to 5 Titans, unless for whatever reason they could contain more. If they're in a squadron with this trait, they can't not become part of another squadron. So what that means is that if you have a Lupercal maniple, either you're using this rule or the Lupercal maniple rule. You can't mix between the two.
Yeah.
You can have both on your list, but you can't use both this cap of 5 inside and outside of the squadron and the change up your squadron composition turn by turn. Unless the Warhound's reduced to a squadron of 1, and then you could use those rules. This is a nice trait. It's not a nice trait. It's a very restrictive trait. It gives a couple perks. It's what gives them the majority of their flavor as a Legio. It says you will play the fluff or you will not play at all.
Okay, wait, really quick. To be fair, a little spoiler alert, their stuff is really good anyway, so you kind of do want to play the fluff anyway.
Yeah.
These guys are fun.
And it allows, 3 maniples you could take with these guys then? Lupercal, Canis, and Ignis.
And Infernus. Yep.
Infernus
Ignis, Yep. No, sorry, Ignis. You're right. It's Ignis.
Yeah, Ignis is the
Warhounds and the
some
Knights.
Cerastus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, those are... I think that's all 3 of them. I don't think any
I was looking
require
for
at least a Reaver, if not a Warlord. Yeah. So it's very restrictive. So just to remind you guys of those real fast. The Lupercal one is the 3 to 5 Warhounds. They change up the squadron turn by turn.
Which they can't do in this Legio, so it wouldn't really do you any good.
Well, they can, but they can't use the Legio trait to form squadrons in addition. So the Legio trait lets you form squadrons in and out of maniples.
Okay.
And between different classes. So a Warhound could either use the Legio rule to squadron or the Lupercal rule to squadron, but not
Got
both.
it.
Yep. The Ignis maniple, it's the Warhounds and Lancers. It gets bonuses to the Flamers. And the Canis maniple, which is specifically for Audax, so I'm going to go over this one really quick. I'll do it at the end of their traits.
Yeah,
they
that
do
makes
also
sense.
get the
Once you
Canis
kinda see
maniple,
the
which
full
is their
picture.
specific thing. Yep. So yeah, it's a rule that is many restrictions, a couple benefits, but it's what gives them their flavor. All right, their second trait, Stalk Unseen. Basically, they're ambush predators. For the first turn, anyone attacking Audax Titans of scale 6 or lower, which should be all of them if you're not cheating, we're going to suffer a -2 to hit roll if it's at least 25% obscured. So they take that little bit of cover they get, and they maximize the potential of it, essentially. They're raiding an ambush. Quick reminder that Titans do provide cover for other Titans, because they do physically block them. Knights would also do that, too, if you had enough Knights in the way, I think.
With a Warhound,
So I
you
guess
can
if you
easily
had
do if you got one in
Ignis.
front of each leg.
Yeah. Yep, that's what I'm thinking. 2 Knights screening out Warhounds. That would work. That would definitely work. This is a nice trait. It's one of those ones that a canny player could get around, or a canny player could make really useful. It really highlights the positional aspect of this game, though, I feel. It's nice. I like it.
To some extent, and I understand why they're doing it for lore and reason and all that, but to some extent they're handicapping you in this Legio on the offset, because they're saying you have to take the lightest Titans that exist in this game currently. I mean, maybe something small will come out later, but Titan-wise, you have to take the small stuff. So they're giving you some bonuses. 1, okay, squadron them up, put them together. You can go up to 5. So you can that's a good way to get your firepower. All right, first turn where you would be concerned about, getting one of your Warhounds popped because it's lighter on shields, you got bigger things shooting at you. Okay, well you have more cover. They have more minuses. You can throw some smoke down to help make sure that you get there. So they feel like necessary additions to make sure that you're able to compete with the bigger boys.
Yup. And their first war gear also plays into that very idea.
Yeah.
So any Titan of scale 6 or lower, we give reinforced plating for 15 points, and it's -1 to do armor rolls to damage them, essentially. So it's +1 armor to everything on all the tiers.
I think it's like a necessity.
Which, yeah. Yeah, this is
So,
nice.
if I may,
15 points is not that bad.
No.
Yeah, I will
It's
say
only
this
it's like a
also makes
10%
you-
point.
This also makes you immune to Vulcan Mega Bolters, which is a big problem with Warhounds that they can be tagged by Strength 4 weaponry.
Well-
So strength 4 weaponry no longer really affects them. Strength 5 weaponry, so this is the Gatling blaster from the Reaver. Again, no longer affects them, and even laser blasters, which are Strength 8, now need a 3 or more instead of a 2 or more to do damage, which is that's not much, but
It's
still,
nice.
it's 15 points.
It's
Is not bad.
definitely worth taking.
And to be fair,
let's
you need to
see.
take 10 of these to equal a Warhound. No, not even shit. Hold on.
You're not going to get that
You
many
need to
Titans.
Exactly.
So-
You're taking 10 of these to equal
could-
a Titan. 150 points.
So you're running like 4 Warhounds per 1,000 points. So figure you have 6 Warhounds, 7 Warhounds in a game. Yeah, that's not that bad points wise.
Yeah.
That could be what,
I agree.
200-ish? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
I to me, it almost again, it kind of.
I
Feels
mean,
like,
it's the difference of a
need
single Warhound in a big game. Yeah.
yeah. No,
I think the
you
survivability
need
is a better
survivability.
trade-off.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is really nice. Like you said, it neutralizes bolters unless they get a good flanking on you, but you're a Warhound, you're gonna do your best to deny that. It makes it hard for Gatlings. What's strength 6? So that's strength 6, I feel.
Volkite.
Volkite.
The
Yeah, big
I'm not-
Volkite is strength 6. You know, this is nice. This is definitely
because
a
Warhounds
lifesaver.
hurt are a 9, right? Or are they a 10?
Warhounds start getting damaged at 10
Yeah,
for
10's
all
almost
their
like
like
photos.
So
structure.
even laser
I think
blasters.
the weapons are 9. Weapons might be 9.
No, but I would say even laser blasters that wound on a 2 essentially for direct now need
Mhm.
3s.
Now need
That-
3s. Yeah.
That's a good shift.
Would that apply to reactor rolls? Because it is an armor roll against it. Like if you suffer a plasma leak.
Yeah,
I
that
think
is an
it
armor
would.
roll. So you don't take strength 9, you take strength 8.
Yeah,
I would
because it
agree.
does say for armor rolls, it doesn't say when the opponent shoots you or anything like that. So you get against everything. You are essentially all your spots are 1 higher.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That is very, very nice.
It also helps
Um,
against your concern
Reminder
which might
that
be
it's
also-
only natural ones that fail.
Yeah.
It is only natural ones that fail. You know, this is nice because it helps out a little bit with plasma. Because
Helps
plasma is
against
the
little knights,
big
too.
stress for Warhounds. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a very nice thing. You take that every single time.
Yeah, I think you need it on all of your Titans.
All right,
I
and
think
there's-
it's an auto extra.
Yep.
You know, Warhounds cost what is it? I forget what they cost off the top of my head.
180.
180. So
butt naked,
your
and the
Warhounds cost you
minimum weapon cost
195
is 10.
Immediately. They're
Yep.
195.
215 if it's double bolters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like if your base cost is 180, no, your base cost is 195, and now figure out your weapons.
Yep. I'd probably also consider picking up the free push upgrade for 10 points per model. The it's like the extra shield thing.
Yeah.
The universal war gear. I would consider taking that too. It's 10 points, and like the cost adds up, but they could use the extra help on the defense. I feel because even with this, reactors are still scary. It's still a warhound, and with nothing bigger to do the pushing type stuff, you're going to want it on them. All right, and their second war gear option, Ursa's Claws. Everyone has Ursa's Claws, but Ursa Claws fired by Legio Audax Titans get a strength bump from 3 up to 4. Ursa's Claws are weird.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
they
flip
are.
their profiles super fast.
Yeah.
They do some weird shit.
So,
So basically, it's like a grabby harpoon. It shoots out, it grabs things. And what they're trying to do is basically pull off armor panels and just pull a Titan down to its knees.
or as Dave did to me, fucking kill my Warhound and have it collapse into a fucking Reaver.
Yeah, I did. I ripped them apart.
And then you rip the
Nice.
fucking leg off. Literally. Continue. Continue as
So,
I
yeah.
hate
So,
everything
so,
about
so to
this.
cover Ursa's Claws real fast, so the way they work is you don't do an armor roll, which means that the actual reinforced plating does not work against them, interestingly enough. So you roll a die, you get the strength of the weapon, and then you add, if you're doing a coordinated strike, which with these guys you really should be,
You need to.
yeah, you add up the number of Ursa's Claw hits you have to the d6. So if you shoot, say you have 2 warhounds with a double claws, and you manage to get 3 hits, you would be adding.
So it's
add one
plus
for each.
1 per
That'd be
every
3
additional after the
per
first.
hit. Is it? Or no?
Yeah.
I'm saying it's beyond the first. I missed that sentence.
Yeah.
Yep. So that'd be plus 2 if you got 3 out of 4 to hit. What sucks is that if you have 2 on one Titan, technically this doesn't work because it's not a coordinated strike.
No.
But no. So you could get it. That plus 1 strength is essentially already having an extra hit in that pool, which is really nice. So if your total is bigger than the target's scale, this is a big change from the previous version of the rules.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the updated Legio books, or you do and you haven't read through this, it's a big change. Now, instead of trying to beat the armor, you're beating the scale. So that means that if you have a single Ursus Claw and fighting a Warhound, on a 2-up, it's going to work now. So equal to or lower, it turns them. So that means on a 3-up, you get a Warhound with this. If you have a coordinated strike and you get at least 2 in there, that would be 6s are full effect on Warlords. Basically, you want lots of Warhounds with Ursus Claws if you're going to go this route.
Yes.
You could potentially just pull them to the ground and do D3 plus 1 devastating hits. If they die, they automatically get laid low, which means you're safe from collateral damage. It's nice. That little perk, that is a little bump, but it's a free bump. Unlike other weapon upgrades in Legios. So Ursus Claws, Audax, they go together. Alright, personal traits. The Master of Ambush. The Stalk and Skin Legio trait applies to the Princeps Titan for the first and the second round, so you have an extra turn of getting more out of cover. It's nice, but again, it forces you to play a little more conservatively, which you probably should with this many Warhounds.
Yes. Yes. Be conservative.
It's nice, but I don't know if it's the best personal trait out there. Any conflicting thoughts on that?
It only helps the Princeps.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got a little bit better cover, but it's only helping him. He's probably moving up with the squad anyway. If you're really worried about saving him, put him in a spot where he's better hidden. I think you'll get more out of other stuff. I don't think it's going to do enough for you.
I agree. Unless they're going solo, yeah. All right, the second trait, Call the Weak. The Prince of Sen can reroll failed armor rolls against a location that has suffered critical damage. So you start hurting something, you hurt it pretty bad, and then you just completely nail it. This is very nicely paired with a plasma cannon. So you hit something, you critical to it, and then you follow up. This might be a redemption story for the turbo laser, but I'm going to say I like it better on bolters. Because there's the universal war gear for the hunter shells. If I could find that super fast. Not the universal one. Page 171. Traitor-specific war gear, corrosive payload.
There it is.
Any Traitor Titan with the Ordnance or Rapid trait can be upgraded with a corrosive payload for 5 times the dice value. So Mega Bolter would be 30 points. As long as you don't already have an upgrade on that. Once per game, you could add 1 to all armor rolls for the attack. So if you had a Plasma and a Bolter, which is a pretty common upgrade, for an extra 30 points is getting expensive now. You could have the Plasma do wholesale damage and have the most devastating follow-up with the Bolter imaginable. Because that +1 and reroll failed rolls is going to be nice together. It's expensive, though. I do like it, though. I do like it.
This might be a Legio.
It saves you from the one
have those points
that shows up.
Yeah. This might be the Legio where you have spare points just because you're only really currently. We'll see when the Dire Wolf comes out. But currently you only have one Titan you can take. I mean, you can take some banners and all, but you only have one Titan. So if the points aren't working out for you, you could have a good amount left over. Because you can't say oh, well, I'll drop these 2 Titans and I'll take the next class up. I'll take a Reaver when I drop these 2 Warhounds and I can take some upgrades and fit this other thing. No, you know the base, so you could get the points to put in some extras. I like that one.
That's true, because unless you have a full 200, yeah, no, that's true. That could work. And then the last trait, the Pack Alpha. Audax Titans and 3 of the Princeps may reroll 1s making command checks. I still don't love this one either, because yes, rerolling 1s of command checks could definitely bail you out. That's all command checks, not just to receive orders. So that would also go for like reactor push, go crazies. But there's still 2s, 3s, and 4s that are going to fail orders.
Yeah.
Although if you're squadrons and you're sharing orders, it's +1 per additional Titan with the order.
And you should be
Exactly. I was
squadroned.
just going to mention that, yeah.
So
I mean, listen,
this might be worth it then.
I want to go back to
If
what
you're
Dave,
going to be sharing orders, this is nice.
I want to go back to what Dave said real quick. And I'm just kind of, this is again theory. If the direwolf is scale 6,
He's got to
right?
be.
Let's say if he's scale 6, which he most likely is, but if he's scale 6, I think he's a wonderful addition to Legio Audax. You could do stalk unseen, right? Which is because you want to hide him because he's going to do that little stupid top gun that can shut your Titan down right on the top. I think does it ignore voice shields?
Yeah, the neutron laser. Yep.
Yeah. So exactly. So -2 to hit instead of -1. Excellent. Just pop his little tiny booty out and let him shoot the top gun, right? Which will have line of sight to a lot of things, by the way, because it's not on the arms; it's right on the shoulders, which peers over buildings.
You could clear a 3 or 4 story building easily with that.
I'm ignoring reinforced painting for now because that doesn't really help the thing. I'm going to ignore the Ursus clause, but and then if you make him a princeps, you can reroll failed armor rolls. That's
well, he has to be in a maniple to be the princeps, though.
Oh, true. And so yeah, we would have to see again.
At this point, we don't have any maniples for it.
Exactly. So we would have to see, but it's still, like I said, if it's part of the Audax, you can see it helping. It works. It works well. It gives you long range sniping firepower and an otherwise very quick close range list of warhounds.
If he is bigger than scale 6, they don't know what they're doing. Like, it's a perfect Titan to add to add overall, especially add to Audax. Hey, guess what? You get to finally play with another Titan now with their Legio. Oh, we made him 7. Like, no, he's going to be 6.
It does say that they use direwolf Titans.
Yeah, so he's going to be. The direwolf's going to be 6. It's got to be.
I know, but it's still it's just in case. To be fair, Games Workshop also mentions that there are Laris custodians in 30K, and there are no rules for them. So yeah,
but that true, but that's a little different. That's saying like this model exists, but we just haven't given you the rules. Like GW does that; they don't always give you rules for everything. Saying in the fluff and everything else, like, "Hey, man, you're gonna have this Titan." Like, no, we made him too big for you. Like that would be like they came out with Alaris Terminators or something like that, Alaris for custodes, but then they tell you that you're not allowed to take them because they're in a different army.
Oh my god, they add Alaris Custodians to Imperial Fists.
Yeah, that's more of equivalency there.
Yeah.
Ugh. All right, and before we close out the Ember Wolves chapter, we have to go back to their maniple.
Absolutely.
Because it's central to them. It is absolutely central to them. They're the ones that could take it, so it's worth talking about here. So, surprise, surprise, it's made up of 3 Warhounds and maybe 2 more Warhounds. The trait for this maniple is called Pack Ambush. Instead of deploying maniples in this Titan, you place basically blips. Anywhere on the battlefield, 6 inches from your deployment zone. So on a pitched battle kind of setup, that would be 14 inches from the opponent's table edge. I think it's 8. It's either 6 or 8. I think it depends on what cards you draw in the scenarios. It's like about 12 to 14 inches from the opponent's table edge. That's where you could place the blips. And placing the blip counts as them being deployed. So if you have all Canis maniples, you could be the first one deploying in almost every game, giving the D10 to dictate first turn. And then after deployment's finished, then the Titans from the maniple deploy anywhere within 3 inches of a pack ambush marker. And yes, you do share them between maniples, but each maniple only gives you 1 extra.
And you have to deploy at least 50% obscured.
Yep. Yeah, that's the problem. It's
I mean, hold
very
on.
dependent. Hold on.
On
It's
the table,
very
exactly.
dependent on the terrain
Yeah.
that you
But to be
have.
fair, if you're playing an
If
actual
you're one of those tables where you have, 2 Civitas boxes built, spread out over a 4x4, and they're all like, those little stubby 3-story tall buildings, this literally will not work.
Yeah, you're gonna have a bad time.
If your terrain is too narrow, it's not really going to work. You need like healthy size, like 6-story buildings, like 3 or 4, 5 panels wide. Like you need healthy sized terrain. Terrain that ate its vegetables and grew up big and strong. That's what you need for this maniple to work. But yeah, basically it just lets you deploy outside your deployment zone in these ambush locations. You can put any number of Titans by each markers. They have to be within 3, not wholly within, just within. So you could stretch that decently far, but again, you have to be hidden. I saw someone try out Legio Audax and they ran this maniple, and they struggled to use it because their opponent very carefully deployed their Titans so that they basically were able to cut down the ambush locations because they placed them very aggressively forwards. So when you drew the lines, it gave like this little window that you couldn't fit the Warhound into, or like it was one Warhound on each of 2 blips up front, and the rest were forced to deploy at the way back of the table, and it just completely destroyed the cohesion of the maniple and the momentum of the army. Because it was also like all flamers and all Ursus claws. There's no long range component to it, so you gotta be careful with this one. This one kind of maniple where if there's an event, you ask the event organizer, "Can I see an example table?" I'm thinking for an Incanus Light maniple, but I don't know. And honestly, just plan to play Looper Call as a backup because it's the same basic idea. The same composition, different perk. Yeah. I think it's a cool maniple. I think it helps the Legio do what it does a little bit better because it has those Ursus claws. I think it could be a trap, depending on what your local tables are like. Any other thoughts?
It feels like if you're taking Audax, this is what you want to run. This is part of the reason you're running them, is because then you get this really cool. I break the normal rules of the game deployment. But yeah, if your table looks wrong, you're going to lose there. But the same way you guys talk about 30K, how it kind of has to be, I don't want to say non-competitive, less competitive, more cooperative to an extent. We want to make sure both sides are having a good time. It's the same reason, the way you would play this, the same way if someone's playing a night army. If someone's playing a night army, well, we better make sure there's a good amount of terrain, because otherwise this isn't going to be fun. If someone's going to play this, we better make sure there's some terrain for you to hide behind. It doesn't mean that you should be able to write on my line. If you put all your points right across my deployment zone and I can stop you there, that's one thing. But you could put a point maybe a little bit further back. Maybe there's a couple other buildings or something that could hide them. So you're still far up the board, but maybe you're not right on top of me. Like, at least give you some options like that. But yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, if you're going to take this to like a tournament somewhere, you ask them, talk to them about it, make it known what you're going to do, because the last thing you want to do is bring this and the tables are terrible for you and you're just losing and getting crushed every game, or you're just starting your own deployment zone, because where's the fun in that?
Yep. I mean, at least there is your own deployment zone provision, and you could counter deploy within your own deployment zone. But even then, it sucks because you literally just lost 2 feet of deployment.
Yeah.
Just because the terrain wasn't good.
And let's face it, if you're taking this Legio, you're probably running an Ursus Claw on I would think a good amount of them. Maybe not
at
all
least
of them,
half.
But a good amount.
Like half.
Yeah.
Just because it's fun.
Cheap. Yeah, it's
Fire
fun.
the Ursus Claws.
Yeah, it's 10 points, so it's nice and cheap. It helps you afford your armor upgrade, because now it's a very cheap weapon that you can take. And your Ursus Claws are a strength 4, so you could actually get a pair of them could actually get work done instead of needing 3 or 4. Well, Ursus Claws only fire up to 12 inches, so I got to get close to you first. They kind of need this to be able to use those weapons effectively.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you're playing the base missions from the rulebook. and you could potentially get stuck with the one where you try to kill something turn 1 and turn 2.
Yeah.
If you load up on Ursa's Claws, that's not happening. Another reason to get the Open Engine Work Pack or like a scan of them, because those missions are way better. But yeah, no, like they're designed together for a reason, because they're supposed to go together. They don't have to. Well, Audax doesn't have to, but they should at least once. If you're going to try Audax, try this out.
Yeah. If you want to play Audax and the idea of that mana pull, you don't like the idea of the mana pull, you should really think about, do you really actually want to run Audax? Because I feel it's not a requirement, but they really should be going hand in hand. Like that's your way to both fit the fluff as well as to improve your chances of being able to compete against much bigger and heavier and more damaging targets that you're going to face. Unless it's like Audax v Audax. And then just rip them down with your Ursa's Claws. But anything else for Audax, gentlemen?
No, that's it.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. So we will move on then. We'll go to Legio Magna. So for Magna, these guys were interesting when I was reading through them. First of all, their symbol is really cool. Oh, actually, one other quick thing about Audax. Their paint scheme is great. It's that sort of almost blackish with the red marble pattern over it. And I think it's a nice, clean, cool scheme. But going back to Magna, this is one of the ones where they were first discovered, and then it was, or they were first, like, there was some information about them, but then it was a super long time before they actually got found. Essentially, like, there were some records lost and all. They're actually one of the largest Legios, and they end up being spread across the Imperium. So their Forge World, their home world was Esteban 7. Essentially, what happened as time went on, they were not a faction that really cared about playing the politics game. They wanted to, like, do their job well. Actually, give me one quick second. Am I thinking of the Legio 4? No one knew them. Oh, no, sorry. My apologies. I was mixing up a little bit of the next Legio. The found much later was the other Legio. For this one, no, they were around. Huge Legio. Essentially, they were having trouble being able to keep up with repairs and everything like that, because they were kind of being spread out. There was individuals being sent to some spaces, demi-legios being sent to others. What also happened in their system is that a demi-legio of Tempestus was moved to Esteban 3, which meant that a lot of the goods and everything that they were getting at Esteban 7 was now going to this other spot. So essentially, they weren't able to keep up with the demand that they had. So what they ended up doing is they switched their forges over, and they started making production for the Imperial Army. So they're making Bane blades, and that's the one thing. That's the main thing I mentioned there. But they're probably making other things. So that they were getting contracts and all with the Imperial Army, and that was giving them links as ways to be able to get more things for themselves. Because essentially, they would threaten that, hey, there's going to be a problem with your order if we don't start getting more supplies, or if we don't start getting better placement out there. So they started actually trying to wheel and deal themselves into getting better and better missions. So over the course of the decade and all, they were actually able to get redeployed to more noteworthy positions, getting better and better spots, and in particular serving aside Horus. And Lurgar as well, so the main two culprits of the heresy. As this went along and they got more and more known and renowned, they started liking it more and more. So they noticed even their tactics started to change. They were actually more upfront and more in the enemy's face, essentially trying to play now the politics sort of game that they originally weren't going to do. Since they were with Horus and Logar and all for so long, it was no surprise that when the heresy happened, who they chose to go with. And the overall sort of feel is that they went from a very reserved and more soft-spoken sort of thing to a very bolsterous and wanting to be noticed and wanting to be important and all. And that plays into essentially what their traits and all are. So we'll go through they have one trait. The Legio trait is Howls of the Damned. You subtract 1 from the command checks made by Titans within 8 inches of a Legio Magna Titan. In addition, Titans within 8 inches of a Legio Magna Titan can never reroll failed command checks. Magna Titans are unaffected by this trait. Good, not necessarily amazing, but good. Removing 1 from their command checks means that, especially at least with smaller Titans, it's much more likely that they're not going to get their commands. And not being able to re-roll them as well with that minus means that for certain either mana pools and all, you're essentially removing bonuses it can give. I do like it. The only sort of issue I have with it is, commands are the sort of thing. Well, actually, okay, we'll come back to them in 1 second. But in terms of some of those command checks, it might be something that your opponent's not really caring to do. You might be in a position where you don't really need them. Since they limit you when you're doing, say, orders, doing command check related to orders, that maybe you don't want to actually use one, so it's not necessarily coming in play. Is the machine spirit on the reactor die? Is that a command check?
It is.
Okay, so
Yep.
this actually affects that as well, so they're more likely to lose control. That helps. I do like that part more. You do have to get close. Again, this might be a Legion where you want to be a little bit more brawler, at least with some of your Titans. I like it. Not amazing, though. I do like it overall, though. Do you guys have any particular impression? Do you guys like it more than I do?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't go crazy for command check manipulation. It's not a bad trait by any means, but it's not like a whoa. I'm going to build around this kind of trait. It's a nice perk. It's a oh man, I'm sorry, but you failed that test sort of deal. More than a okay, I'm going to push this up specifically because I know I could do this and that. Like, is that making sense? Like,
Yeah.
it's a perk, not a plan.
Yeah. We'll take a look at their. They have 2 stratagems. So the first stratagem is Battle Fervor. It's 3 points. It says it can be purchased by any Legio Magna player. Play this stratagem during the strategy phase. For the remainder of the phase, friendly Legio Magna Titans may be issued charge orders without the need to make a command check. In addition, for the remainder of that round, friendly Legio Magna Titans may reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made with weapons with the melee trait. This is another Legio that wants to be close. They want to be right up there. This one I do like. If it's 3 points, so it's expensive. It depends. If you're running multiple things that want close combat and you time it well, I think you can get a lot out of this, especially the reroll ones, because a lot of times with melee weapons, if you have a decent melee weapon, you're usually hitting on, for, say you're talking about a Reaver or something like that, you're usually hitting on 2s. So you're essentially getting a reroll, and the only thing that's going to be missing, I mean, there's a chance it might be 3, but a lot of times it's on 2s. So I like, as someone who likes to get Titans all up in there, I do like this. 3 points a little expensive, but I understand why they didn't go cheaper, because if they went cheaper, then you wouldn't dedicate resources. You definitely have to dedicate resources to making this worthwhile.
I agree. Honestly.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
You kind of
At
hit the
first, I
nail
was
on the head.
thinking Ferox Maniple at first, but now I'm realizing that's mostly Warhound, so it's actually not great with Ferox.
No, it's not.
I would say this would be good for a Corsair.
I
'Cause that's
don't run
Reavers.
Corsair, so I'm going to agree with you here.
Or so, which one's I never remember the names of which ones. Which
Just
so,
Reavers that are super agile. They can
Yeah.
move sideways full speed. And it's all Reavers.
That would actually be really good because, yeah, it gives you more options. I mean, it's not going to help on the charge part, because charge does say front arc, but it helps you get into the position for it very well.
Right. And it gives you a bunch of Titans that could take melee weapons to maximize the potential of the stratagem.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Ferox is 1 Reaver. I keep forgetting it's only 1 base, and a bunch of Warhounds. and which will not derive nearly the same kind of benefit from this.
No, not at all. No, you want something that puts Reavers and maybe more. Perpetua Battle Line does it as well, but I don't know if that helps. It helps repair. That's not bad. But all right. The other Legio specific stratagem, Spearhead Assault. This stratagem can be purchased by any Legio Magna player. Play the stratagem during any strategy phase. For the remainder of the round, so the entire round, friendly Legio Magna Titans add 1 to all hit rolls and armor rolls made as the result of an attack against a target within 8 inches of the Titan, in addition to any other modifiers. However, enemy Titans add 1 to all armor rolls made as a result of an attack against a Legio Magna Titan originating from the side or rear arc, in addition to any other modifiers. All right, so for the round, they get an extra +1 to hit and for armor rolls if they're targeting within 8 inches, but your opponent gets better in your sides or back.
Yeah.
The opponent does not get better in the front, though, so if you get a charge off and you square right up to them, they're not going to be able to get around you, depending on your shape. I'm thinking like a Reaver with the wider base and all. If you get in front of them correctly, if they're not a round base like a Warhound, they probably won't be able to move around you or really be able to push themselves away in most cases.
It's a shame that these strats together is 5 stratagem points. That's a lot of points. They pair so nicely. Shit. Because you get, how many do you get in a 1750 game? Like 4?
No, hold on.
No, you do get 5.
You get 5.
You
You get 3 for showing up. Well, you get 3 for showing up, and then 2 for each Legio your opponent has. So
yes.
Usually 5.
Yeah.
If you play Knights, you're not taking both, but you probably don't want both if you're fighting Knights anyway, because Knights make people cry. Yeah. No, you could go all in with these two, and they do pair very nicely. But then it's also very predictable. If you have 4 or 5 Reavers all kitted out for combat, gee, I wonder what strats they took. That's a nice pairing.
Yeah.
If you reroll ones and add 1.
If you're looking to take both, I think this is the case where, or spot where you make a case for Ferox. Because if Ferox, you could put 2 Reavers in, you have a couple Warhounds. Okay, my 2 Reavers I put in are geared at least on 1 arm for melee. Their goal is to use these things and get into your face. That second one just says if you're within 8 inches. It doesn't, the first one obviously is related to melee only. But Spearhead Assault, it's +1 to hit rolls for armor rolls against the target. And +1 to hit. So it has nothing to do with melee on that one. So I can actually hit you better with the weapons on the other. On my other smaller Titans.
Because that would be basically a 2-up skill.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you're within your scale, even at that point, Vulcan Mega Bolter, you're looking at +2. So you're looking at what? Strength? Strength 4 base? So you're looking at strength 6.
So it's a 1-up to hit.
Yep.
Strength 6, yeah. 7 if you get the flank.
Yeah. So I this actually.
Well, for that you wouldn't use Battle Fervor though, because you only have 1 model with a melee weapon. Because I believe they decided that smash attacks are not weapons though. Oh, you do get 2. Never mind.
Yeah, you can take a second. I think you'd have to if you want to take Battle Fervor. I think you take the second.
Yeah. No, you absolutely take the second if you're doing Battle Fervor.
I could see you just doing Spearhead though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind just taking that.
That's great.
And that's honestly, in some again, positioning always matters in the game. But Spearhead is actually potentially even a little, you have to be within 8 inches, might be a little bit better if you're closer to 8, sometimes not even melee, because you might be able to protect your sides and flanks better. Where maybe if you're a little closer, maybe you're too far in their line and their Warhounds come around you. But I like it. I definitely like both of those.
Yeah.
Shame I don't like
the Battle Fervor might be overcosted by a point.
Yeah.
In a normal sized game. Because it does scale up aggressively. Because it's every Titan, not just a Maniple.
Yep.
I feel like if they locked it to a Maniple and made it 2 points, I feel like it would be perfect.
Agreed.
And I would very, very much consider taking it whenever I could. Like whenever, it made sense. at 3 points, but it, infinitely scales up, all of a sudden it's kind of blocked out from small games, and it's I'm going to play a big stupid game kind of strat. But Spearhead Assault, that's fantastic.
Yeah. That with Ferox, I mean, you're looking at +2 then. +1 to hit, +2 on your armor. That's going to do
Using
a
your
lot of
ballistic skill, yeah. No, Spearhead and a Ferox is absolutely amazing as a pairing.
Yeah, I do like that. All right, Legio specific war gear. They got one of them. Directed pressure outlet. Any of their Titans armed with a weapon with the fusion trait can be equipped with this for 20 points. Each fusion weapon a Titan is armed with must be upgraded separately as common. It adds +3 to the weapon's short range. So they get longer short ranges. I don't know. I gotta flip to look at some Titan weapons. Does that
just the
make
Meltas?
Yeah. Okay. So your Melta range then
so that's Reavers.
Yeah.
And that's War Masters.
So that's a 15-inch on your short range for your Reaver. What is it on War Masters? Is it the same? No, there's probably a longer range. Their fusion is 16, so it'd be 19. It's nice, but I don't know if I want to spend 20 points on the weapon to do that. My other things I'm taking in this Legio are going to put me inside the distance of fusion anyway, because I want to get within 8 inches to be able to use Spearhead Assault. I'm already going to be within the 12 or whatever it is, so I don't think I spend 20 extra points on this.
Ooh.
I think I take a mutation or something.
I have a funny one. I have a really funny one.
Go for it.
The Iconoclast. The Siege Drill has a 2-inch short range, no long range. It's melee and fusion.
Wait, is it?
So you could upgrade it from 2 inches to 5 inches.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, you would be hitting shields even though it's melee, because it does not have bypass, unlike the Chainsaw, which does. But funny enough, you could get that from 2-inch to 5-inch range.
Assuming they have shields left. If they don't have shields,
that's true. This is a freaking War Master. You also have like 2 Mega Bolter arrays or some bullshit. Yeah, that's funny.
Yes, and because there you're doing it not for the extra die, the D10 from the fusion. Instead, you're just doing it because you want more distance. It's only short range of 2 inches. So now at least you have a 5-inch gun. At least now you can hit someone.
More than double it.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a lot more range.
And what's even funnier is you could do this with the charge orders, because it is a melee weapon.
Yes, it is.
At the end of a charge order. So they have a 5-inch threat range on a charge. Oh my god, that is hilarious.
And
I don't know if it's good.
No, it's not good, but it's funny.
If you have a War Master, if you have an Iconoclast, you might as well. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's 20 points. Great. You're already paying so much for that boy. What's 20 poents? It's nothing. Just throw it on him.
Exactly. All right, so now Dan's going to start playing Legio Magna.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's going to go get 2 Iconoclasts, and he's going to say, "This is my new Maniple type. Shut up. I'm doing it."
I'm just not a big fan of their paint scheme. I'm hoping, so like I said, as always, I'm going to put out a call for pictures from the community so we can post this up. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're hopefully looking at a bunch of really greatly painted Titans right now. And I'm hoping that maybe what I see makes me get more interested.
It looks better in the flesh, I think.
Yeah, I would hope so. That's
one of the local guys does a Black Shield Force that's like a Titan from each Legio. That's a mostly black scheme that was like an accent color, and he has a Magna Titan in there, and it looks really nice.
Yeah, orange is a tough color to paint well, and depending on how you do it, there's a lot of shades and variation you can do, and some of them come across very good, and other ones I think are just a little too boring or too yellow and all. All right, let's look at these Princeps traits. So first one is Messenger of Death. The Legio trait Howls of the Damned. Their Legio trait Howls of the Damned. That was the name of their Legio trait. Affects all units within 15 of the Princeps Senioris Titan instead of 8. So their command checks are worse now inside of 15. No, don't take it. That's
such a weird number to pick.
Yeah, why is it 15? Why didn't they just double it and make it 16?
Because they hate you.
They did that for a reason, and it might be hate. I don't like that one. Their Legio trait to me is the least fun thing they do. It's not bad. I mean, if you
Mhm.
can get it to go off like, "Hi, stopped you from getting your charge order, and I got my charge order," you're gonna love it. But all the rest of the time, it's just gonna sit there.
Yeah. I think you take this Legio because you like Spearhead Assault and you want to try something silly, maybe with War Master.
Yeah, I could see that. Slayer of Kings, their next trait here. When targeting a Titan that is within 12 inches of the Princeps Titan, the Princeps Senioris may add 1 to the armor roll for any hits, provided the target has a scale equal to or greater than their own. That's not bad if you're willing to make your Princeps Senioris probably maybe your Reaver. Because to me, that kind of screams what you want in this. You want a Reaver with some close, maybe at least one close combat weapon, rushing in, having some fun. If you're at least a Reaver, that's most of the Titans in the game, then, that you're going to get +1 to your armor rolls against. And they're the ones with the heavier armor anyway. So,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. You do this on a Warhound because in a Ferox, you could stack that with Spearhead for a +3.
You could.
Honestly, I'd even put
Flank,
this on a Reaver.
flank for a +4.
Yeah.
I'd even put this on a Reaver because my favorite weapon, Gatling blasters, now becomes Strength 6 with Ordnance. So
Yeah.
Very true.
That's not bad.
This is nice. That is
Yeah.
nice one.
Yeah, the first one, not so great. The second one is good. Bloodthirsty is their third one here. It says, once per round, the Princeps Titan may make an attack with a disabled weapon, as if the weapon had been repaired. After resolving the effects of the weapon attack, the weapon suffers the detonate damage effect, using the highest detonated strength value to resolve its effect. No, I don't like this one.
Yes.
Hey, wait.
Because if you have a Melta on your Reaver and it's
Yes.
broken, you get sad. Being able to
Because-
shoot that anyway, because it's a 35-point gun.
Yeah, true.
And
Being
if
able to
someone
just bring it
activated
back into the
Knights,
fight.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like someone activates Knights and they tear off your arms instead of focusing on your body.
All right.
Right.
Someone
Yeah.
plays Furians and they go for the meme and they rip off your arms.
No, stop that. No, stop. No one does that. No one in life will do that. No one in life will do that. No, but like you play Knight players, or for example, against my game on Friday, where I was playing Steve, we just kept hitting weapons left and right, and it sucked. It really, really did. So maybe just pulling out that extra shot might be nice. Again, the better one is number 2, but it's not
There's a case for 3.
bad. Yeah, there's a case for 3. Would you take it? No, I'd rather take 2. But listen, if you want to take 3, you're not like it's not bad.
It depends basically on how many Meltas you have versus how much medium strength you have.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of Meltas, Slayer Kings, is a +1 really going to help you when you're rolling a d10 to penetrate? Yeah, sometimes, but not that much. It's better to have more weapons in the game. That's my thought anyway.
The more you talk about it, the less negative I am on it. I still don't necessarily like it because it is, again, that sort of case of I'm banking on a bad result, and
Yeah.
it's okay. And if you have this, maybe then your opponent doesn't target your arms because they're like, well, you get the fired anyway. Like, yeah, you're going to take a body hit, but you'll still hurt me. So maybe now I'll try to take you down a different way. So not bad, but no. If you're going to pick one of their traits, I say you go with the second one. I like that one better, especially considering the mana pools that you're going to run with this. All right. Anything further for these orange boys?
No?
Flame on.
Flame
All right.
on.
So last Legio we're going to go through tonight then is Vulturum. These are the ones who were lost for a while. I apologize earlier when I said that. I read both of these back to back and I didn't write out everything for this one because we didn't decide until late who's going to do which. So these guys are the Gore
Weird ones from
Crows.
Xana, right? These are
Huh?
the weird ones from Xana,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The Xanadu.
One of the two.
Yep. Okay, good.
Yeah. So essentially what we had from this, from what I recall through reading, was the fact that they were found at one point. There was all this information about them, but they weren't actually fully discovered until a good amount of years later. Essentially, actually by a rogue traitor, who they found these hulking automata warships, and expecting potentially a battle. No, they actually offered to help them out, repair, everything like that, and to start the exchange between what they said the sovereign forge world of Xana and the Imperium of Man. Negotiations back and forth. They were surprised. What threw off the Imperium was how far this particular forge world was from Mars. This was exceptionally far away, but yet how robust, how large it was, how many Titans they had, essentially how advanced they were. It felt like there was something wrong. They give a quote in here that I want to go through because I do like this. It was a quote by one of the emissaries said, Xana's gifts simply too perfect to be trusted. It is either our greatest good fortune in these times of war, or it is a serpent lying in wait to slay us. My mind perceives the former, while my soul warns the later. They have no idea why these people were so advanced, why this forge was as advanced as it was, and they were willing to work with them. And they essentially said, you know, we'll work with you, we'll help you out, but we're gonna, still call ourselves, for all intents and purposes, essentially independent. They knew they couldn't fight them in a war. There wasn't resources to do that. So, and there was essentially a battle that took place right around the same, or a sort of war taking place at the same sort of time there, with the Ragdon genocide. So, like I said, they essentially said, you get to maintain your sovereignty and only notionally fall under the rule of Mars. In return, you are going to fight this genocide. And they ended up getting 2 different Legios out of this. So Vulturum was one, and then Kiandos, I guess is how you would say the other one. They're the Death Cry. The Gorkros were the ones that were a lot more active in this, in the Great Crusade, going around doing everything that they should. The big thing is they were known, they kind of do their own thing, even in battle. Their Titans move as a unit. They really don't talk to the people in command unless it was absolutely necessary. And people tolerated them because of, one, both their power and also because they were getting their job done. But they essentially refused to fall in line for all intents and purposes. After the genocide, it says they came out with devoid of all concepts of mercy and filled with great contempt for the weak. So going through this, as more time went on, they got more and more cruel. And surprise, surprise, when that happened, they ended up siding with Horus and all of them because, through their cruelty and everything like that. I said a lot of it helped
Shocking.
because of... Yeah.
It's
a lot of it
shocking.
came because of how isolated they were. They weren't really, with the Imperium. They were more of there. So Horus was able to get them over to his side very, very easily just by saying, hey, you guys can be even more dependent than you were. More independent than you were. All right, so they went with it.
Yeah, they were playing both sides for a while.
Yes.
The Imperium's like, hold up, that's not cool. And Horus is like, hey man, you didn't like those guys anyway. They're like, yeah, you know what? Good point. So they went.
Yeah, and that they did.
Yeah, for those who don't know what Xana is, Xana makes Dan very happy. Your Mechanicum is Xana, right?
Yep, it is.
Or like nominally, yeah.
Yeah,
Xana has the crazy Scorpion Tech Priest with Scoria. Yep.
Scoria.
They're cool. I think the mechs and the Titans both share a scheme, right? They both have that bone, the black trim.
Weird. It's actually a weird tan with a black. Also, I should put out House Malanax is also part of. It's a night house that is paired with this Legio, and they have the same exact color scheme, which is a tannish blackish.
Well, it's not exactly the same, but it's very close. Yeah, they both have like that tan bone sort of color running through.
That's Scorpion, yeah. But yeah, no. For those who don't know, I play Dark Mechanicum, specifically House Xana Dark Mechanicum, with Scoria, and this is their home world. The
reason that Xana was so advanced is they experimented.
Yes,
which was not very in line with doctrines.
That is not very kosher. Yeah. So for those who don't know, Fluff, you do not fucking experiment with the Mechanicum. It was your job is to maintain the status quo, not to experiment and use shit. For those who are listening and like play 40K, you might say, but Belisarius Cawl, yeah, Belisarius Cawl is a fucking heretic. Like he should be assassinated by all means. The only reason he's not stabbed in the face repeatedly is because Gilliman
Because Gullman himself. Yeah.
Yeah,
If it was anyone else.
Every other Mechanicus priest wants to murder this dude. Like, experimenting is not fucking done. Period. It is maintaining the status quo.
There's a reason Cawl has a body double.
Yes.
Like, ready for his conscience to
And
transfer.
Skoria basically said, I see what you're saying. Fuck you. And experiments anyway. For those who don't know who Skoria is basically a scorpion-like spider body tech priest. And the Mechanicum there at least specialize in horrid monstrosities.
That sounds terrible in every way.
And Skoria is actually, fun fact, Skoria was the first person to experiment on injecting a demonic soul into a wired-in princeps, a.k.a. what happened to Legio Vulpa. That was Skoria, or at least the Dark Mechanicum under Skoria. Their whole thing was, I want to experiment with demon souls and injecting that into princeps who are wired into Titans. What's the worst that can happen? You know, these guys were not loyal, like, at all. And I dare say they weren't even loyal when they were fucking found. These guys were techno heresy 101.
No, they weren't loyal then, and like I said, that's why they couldn't understand, like, how are you so advanced? They knew they couldn't fight them then. They had too much going on, so it's like, all right, we'll let you go. We'll let you be for now.
Mm-hmm.
No, these guys were
bad. It's like the Tau. They exist because there's other issues to deal with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's too expensive to fight you now. Go fight that thing. Go fight over there for us. You can do what you want. Just go fight for us.
Just a little backstory on Xana and why I like them. That's why I asked about the Xana question, because I realized that, oh shit, this is Skoria's homeworld. And yeah, no, their color scheme, little side note, I know Dave's going to talk about it, but color scheme is great. The tan with the black, and you get some good weathering on that, it actually looks fantastic.
Yeah, no, they do have a good scheme. And this is one of the ones where I do feel that the Knight household and the Legio have enough similarities that you can see that they go together. Some of them do that, but some of these Knight houses just look very, very different. This one, I like that they kind of keep that sort of tanned cream color between the two to really show that connection. But let's dug into some gory crow rules here. So,
yes,
Legio trait is Relentless Killers. During the combat phase, friendly Legio Vulturum Titans add 1 to hit rolls if during the same round an enemy Titan had suffered catastrophic damage, regardless of the source.
Enemy die, everyone gets +1.
Yes.
That's big.
That is big.
Like
big.
You know what's fun too? It doesn't say you shoot the same Titan.
No. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter where it goes. Just if a Titan died, your army gets +1.
Yeah.
Assuming that you're all Legio Vulturum Titan.
That's actually really big.
Yeah. It does sound good. It will do nothing for you for a while, but when it starts
if you get a good first fire off.
Yeah.
If you get a good, nice killing first fire off, or a nice charge order off that kills something, everyone's going to benefit. Or if they cook themselves alive, which does happen sometimes. I mean, hell, if you get a good ordnance barrage in the stratagem phase, it works.
Yeah. Yeah. When I mean, like, it'll take a little bit. This might be a little bit of a later round when it happens, depending on what they're running. If they're running light Titans, if they're running like Warhounds and all, if you can actually get to them, they're obviously easier to kill. If you can take one down, well, hey, now you're getting +1.
Can you still one-shot with thermal mines? Can you still one-shot with thermal mines on a good roll?
You never could.
No, you can't. It doesn't do enough.
Crit. If you crit on a Warhound, it'll kill it. You used to be able to crit.
I thought the legs had a long enough track that was just short.
No. Crit will kill it by 1. It's the same track as the body. You can't crit a Warhound.
It's only 5 pips long? I thought it was 6.
No, I think it's 5. Hold on. I don't even have my iPad with me. God, where my terminals are over there. Oh my God, everything's in shambles.
It's amateur hour here over at the Apollo.
Everything's in fucking shambles. I should have just shut the fuck up.
But like, there definitely are stratagems you could use to kill off a Titan.
Yes.
Now, this is only the combat phase get the benefit, so your charge and first fires won't benefit.
No.
But your charges, first fires, stratagems can all trigger this benefit.
Here we go. So, crit.
Dan's typing it in
One.
slowly.
Oh yeah, no. Crit will kill.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It's a
Yeah.
6-long track that includes the initial point. So yeah, triple crits would do it. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So now.
But they can't crit anymore because it's only strength 8, not 10.
Yeah. So 8.
Unless it's a knight player, because the knights ones still do 10.
Oh yeah, true.
'Cause
Okay,
it's,
it doesn't matter.
plasma
Okay,
mines.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're good. We're
Yeah.
good. So
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure.
A very nice to have. It might take a little bit before this happens,
Yes.
and there is a chance in my mind that this is a win more trait. I've destroyed one of yours, and now I'm easier to destroy more of yours. So like I might be going ahead, and now I'm just going more ahead. But
I feel like this is a stronger version of the Legio Mortis thing.
oh, absolutely.
Because
Legion Mortis is
you
garbage
get a
compared to
reroll.
this.
Yeah, you get a reroll, and it sticks to the Titan that did the killing.
I'd rather have
This is
plus
like
1
everyone.
for a round.
It's party time. Yup. 100%.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, there's Legio specific stratagem called the Weak for only 1. All right, so it's cheap at least. This stratagem can be purchased by any Legio Vulturum player. Play the stratagem when an enemy Titan moves outside of its front arc. They tell you to see in the rule books about sidestepping or moving back, whether voluntary or involuntarily. A friendly Legio Vulturum Titan can immediately make an attack with one of its weapon systems against the target, increasing its reactor level by 1 to do so. For all intents and purposes, this is a new attack requiring an attack roll, any additional increase to the Titan's reactor level, and so on. So if you fire at it with a weapon that increases it or makes you roll it, the reactor die, you still have to do all that. When an enemy Titan moves outside of its front arc, so essentially when it sidesteps or backs up.
I like it.
For one point, it's not too bad because it's cheap.
Yeah.
But
and how many times has the Warhound fled your Warlord out of the way? You know, that's a pain in the ass. Blast it before it goes.
Just laugh at someone playing a Corsair Maniple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's 1 CP. It's literally.
Arc. Or if you run Quake cannons and you shove them back.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Does Quake count?
It's voluntary or involuntary, so yes.
Yeah, because Quake would be backing up. Technically, you back up 2 inches. So, or I would say it counts. In my mind, it does.
This pairs really well with the Legio trait, too, in my opinion. Because let's say a Warhound's like really, really damaged, right? And it's trying to get out of your arc, and it tries to flee a Warlord.
Psych!
Yeah, the Warlord
down, goes, and now everyone gets
remember, you're not.
2,
Let's say the Warhound's really damaged. Its shields are probably down. It's trying to run behind cover, and you go, wait, psych, motherfucker, and you just blast it with a plasma gun. Because there's no minuses. I can't see any minuses. You just get a reactor level +1, right?
Yeah.
So like in my take my favorite Warlord, the Gatling Blaster, Plasma, and Laser Blaster. So. Warhound, the void shields are down. It's trying to run away from this Warlord. It's going to hide behind a building, try to repair itself, right? Instantly play this, Gatling Blaster goes in. And it's already damaged, so I'm targeting. And it just kills the Warhound. And now for the entire round, I have +1 to hit with everything.
This would also work with a melee Reaver, because they start backing up to try to get away from your charge, like afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Like, nah, there's an extra swing, because go fuck yourself.
Oh, my God. So charge the Reaver. Hit him in the body. He backs up to get away from you. Hit him in the body again.
Or not even he backs up to get away from you. Your weapon can do that.
No, but I'm saying like you attack.
Yeah.
Oh my God, because concussive.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Fisty Reaver.
Shit.
Yeah.
I didn't even fucking think about that.
As a new attack. So.
Oh shit! He fucking won 2. Okay, I like this a lot.
So you could like pop with the fist. Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God! I didn't even think about that. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I started thinking about. Because your opponent could say like, "Oh man, I can't back up. Because if I back up or if I go sideways, I'm screwed. All right, I'm gonna sit here or I'm gonna push my reactor for more turns or something." But they can't control if I make you do it.
Oh, that's mean. I love it.
Yeah. And what's nice?
I love that. Actually, Really,
Because there's
really
always that
good.
sort of problem. If I push you back, if I wasn't like close enough and I push you back, and maybe now I'm out of melee range, this happens immediately. It's
That's what I was thinking.
when they're
Like, oh,
going
he
to
gets pushed
do
out of range,
that.
but no, you just immediately make the attack.
Yeah, so it means you actually will have that swing because there's always that
And
potential problem.
honestly, let's say you charge 6 inches, right? So that's what, an extra 2 attacks on a Power Fist. So that's 3 attacks from a Reaver Power
attacks.
Fist, or 4 attacks from a Reaver
It's
Power Fist.
It's 2 attacks with higher strength.
Okay,
Whereas
so
the
we're
chain
hitting. We're
fist is
hitting.
3.
We're gonna
Yeah.
hit with 3 dice. We're probably wounding with 3 dice because you need anything but ones. And then I think this would kill a Reaver. So if you charge your Reaver into a Reaver, hit it in the body, and then and you push it back, or it tries to back up, and you hit it again in the body, I think it kills it on average.
It could.
You pair that with a Gatling,
Well, on
because
average,
if
on
you
average.
don't if you don't kill it, at that point you've done so much damage to the body, its shields are going to be down. You finish
Yeah,
off the
sure.
Gatling, and congrats, everyone gets a +1 to hit now.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
oh no, you've
Beautiful.
critted the body, but the void shields automatically pop.
Yeah. No, you absolutely take this stratagem, and if anything, even if it doesn't come into play, your opponent, therefore, you force their
He
hand.
freaked out.
Yeah, they're not making
Yep.
certain moves that they may want to do because of what you did. For one point, me controlling at least having part of your mind on, but if I do that, then that warlord over there is going to fire, and maybe I won't survive that, and so on. Anything I can do to get into your head and make you play my game and not play your game is a win.
Yeah,
I like that.
I agree.
Let's see.
And for 1 point, this
Yes.
is a mandatory. in my
And
opinion.
I understand why it's 1 point, because if you don't have a concussive weapon, or if your opponent just doesn't do this, it literally will do you no good. But for 1
Yeah.
point, keep it in your back pocket.
But here's the thing: the opponent will always do this because how many times has a Warhound stepped out of your arc to try to avoid it?
But here's the thing: if
They
you
have 3
this,
turns though. So they
you
could
would
just
turn.
use their turns.
Yeah.
Because then you're not backing up and you're not sidestepping. But yeah, no, this is wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I
amazing.
like it.
That's good. All right, let's see what their other one. So this is their other stratagem, Scent of Blood, for 2 points. This strategy can be purchased by any Legio Vulturum player. Play this strategy when an enemy Titan suffers critical damage in the combat phase as a result of damage from an attack made by one of your Legio Vulturum Titans. As the attack Titan's activation has ended, you can immediately activate another friendly Legio Vulturum Titan that has not yet been activated this combat phase, increasing the chosen reactor's die level by 2. This counts as their activation. So if I cause critical damage to you when I'm done, I get to break our I go order, and I get to go with another one of my Titans.
Oh my god, this is really good.
So I guess Legio Vulturum has an auto 3 stratagem points you're spending.
Yep.
Because
these two pair together better than anything I've seen.
Yeah, you're playing
Pop
4 kills.
Gat.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah,
And everyone gets a +1.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, your Legio trait only cares if you kill things. This lets you just do something after critical damage, which if I get to go again, that means there's less of a chance that you get to do something about that. Maybe I do kill you, or maybe when you do go call a week or whatever it may be. Like, no, that's actually really, really good. Like, anytime you can double up on something is worthwhile. And all it takes is critical damage. You could just roll well. Roll well on the first hit, and the rest of them don't do anything. I can still then play this, and maybe my other Titan will get the job done. No, I really like that.
Yeah, no, I love it.
That's
I
nice.
love it.
All right,
I've got no complaints on this one.
Let's see about this war gear. I didn't read the war gear, so let's see if this is any good. So far,
It's
everything else has
interesting.
been
I was skimming
nice.
it. It's nice.
All right. Any
Because I have a
Legio
particular
Vulturum
combo
Titan,
in mind.
Yeah. That's equipped with Vulcan Megabolters or Vulcan Megabolter Array, can upgrade with Storm Frag Shells for a cost of 25 points for Vulcan Megabolter and 45 points for the Array. All right, so expensive increase. Each weapon a Titan is armed with has to be upgraded separately. I'll finish reading, then I'll ask my question. A weapon with this upgrade gains the maximal fire trait and increases the negative accuracy modifier for weapons long range by 1. So 0 becomes -1. So you get less accurate in long range, but you gain maximal fire.
Which is
Mm-hmm.
If you had 2 Vulcan Mega Bolters, could I just upgrade one?
yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to upgrade both. Yeah, it says
Okay.
upgrade a Vulcan Mega Bolter.
Yeah, I assume so, just the way they said. So, I mean, you would definitely never do both. Maximal fire, though, like that's...
I
Each
like it.
one you roll is a heat you suffer, but you gain +2 to hit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the
Plus 2
strength,
damage.
the strength,
Plus 2 to
the
And-
To
strength.
strength.
So
and 6s are still
here's
rapid.
the thing.
Yes.
6s are still rapid.
Here's the thing. There's another stratagem that I believe is 1 point that makes maximal fire instead of a +2, makes it a +4.
Yep.
Oh.
So that's
You
a
play
strength
that.
8 Vulcan Mega Bolter. Ugh.
Strength 8 Mega Bolter.
Honestly, here's the fun part. I would just fucking put that on a Warlord. I'd put how many shots does the
No,
Vulcan?
you don't put it on Warlord because the Warlord struggles. It's gonna have a
because it's so
-1
short
at
range.
the long range.
Yeah.
Well, no, you get a -1 at long range, which is gonna hurt it a lot because it has that small box, right? The
Yeah.
Warlord base is about 5 inches wide, and they can't attack things in the first 10 inches of distance unless they're
Yeah.
other warlords. Which
But
means you have
still,
like a 2-inch strip that you're getting this effectively out
The,
there.
the Vulcan
This
Mega
is-
Bolter array is a 10-inch short range.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you literally actually don't, unless you're fighting warlords, get this without the
Hear
-1.
me out.
you
Hear me
know.
out. Hear me out.
But you know this is good on the War Master
Yeah.
because those are not carapace.
Oh, those are tit guns. You're right.
Yep.
Oh, ew. 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 What?
And at that point, what's 50 more points? You know.
What the fuck? Here's a casual, rapid fire, strength 8 Vulcan Mega Bolter.
Yeah. And it's got the track that even if you did roll a shit ton of ones, it's okay.
Re-
Yeah.
Strength 8 Vulcan
Once a game, it
Mega
would be
Bolter
strength
with
8.
rapid.
Keep that in mind. Once a game.
No, not once a game.
And you have to spend
no,
the other stratagem points. Like, there goes all your points.
No, that stratagem point, Dave, is anytime you
It's a
maximum
permanent
fire.
upgrade.
Oh,
It's
it's
an
a
inherent
permanent upgrade. Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yes.
I'm trying to find overcharge cannon, page
Overcharge
173.
Thank you.
It's on the right side, third one down.
Guys,
So
it's
that
two-
is
it's
a-
two cooking
It's
in
2
order.
points.
My God, I hate it.
That is a 6-shot, strength 8. Hits on 2s, by the way. Oh, no. Hits on backs on 3s. Because you get a +1 to accuracy at long range with the fucking thing. Because it's a War Master.
They get more
What
accurate?
the fuck? Yeah, well, so I know the plasma gun gets more accurate. I'm not sure about the Vulcan Mega Bolter.
Vulcan
Plasma
Mega
gun
Bolters
hits
are
on
usually
2.
close. No, short +1. Not long.
It's the
Sure.
normal Mega Bolter.
Because the plasma, everyone
What?
thought the plasma was a misprint, but it's not. The plasma does get more accurate at
Yeah.
long range.
Yeah. Vulcans
Instead of
want to
less
get close.
accurate.
But
Yeah.
you at least
But
have,
still,
you
think
can fire in close at least. You can still do
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Still a fucking rapid fire strength 8. What the fuck?
So you take just one of these in that configuration. Only one of your weapons gets the overcharged
You
cannon.
don't have to pair
But
up.
yeah. But
So you
that's
take
okay.
Take a plasma in one, and then the
Oh
rapid fire
God.
strength 8 bullshit gun in the. So you don't even need the arm guns anymore. Just run a fucking plasma gun in one, rip to shreds one of the body parts of whatever you're hitting, and then target with the fucking Vulcan Mega Bolter.
Oh, what happened? It took some critical damage. I guess I'm just activate another Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Oh
is
my
this
God.
is pretty cool. You could do some really, really interesting things with these guys. I like them.
You're gonna love the personal traits.
I haven't even looked at the personal traits
The
yet.
Neither
further
have
you
I.
get, the more you're gonna love it.
All right.
I've
let's
been
see.
skimming
so the
ahead.
first one,
Holy shit.
experimental vessel. Once per game, when the Princeps Senioris' Titan is activated in the combat phase, the Titan may immediately repair a single disabled weapon. That's actually
It's
that's
automatically
very
repaired.
useful. That's really useful.
That's nice.
that's- Really useful, yeah.
It's a stronger effect of what we saw the other one, where you get to fight with what's broken. No, it's better. Enigmatic. At the start of the strategy phase of the first round, the Princeps Senioris' Titan may be redeployed. Do this before either player issues any orders. That Princeps Senioris may be placed anywhere that they would normally be allowed to deploy in the mission being played.
That's powerful. So, okay. I'm
This
gonna,
is a huge deal in modern 40k.
Yes, and that's how.
where you don't have facings. It's a even bigger deal in this.
Yeah.
Yes, and I was going to mention 40K. 40K, one of the biggest things you can do is redeploy your army. It's a stratagem. It can be relics, but it's one of the almost, I'm going to say, dare say, mandatory relics or stratagems you play because you don't know who's going first. It's you do it before you know who's going first. This one is wait. When do you do this? At the start of
Before
the strategy
orders,
phase.
but at the start of the first round, so you should know who's going first.
So you know
You
who's
know
going
who's going
first.
first. That's fucking massive. That's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Because if you also know you're going first, oh, my Reaver that was behind a building, nah, bitch, now it's literally in front of you, or or my Warlord. I still love Warlords so much. Or my
Also,
Warlord.
notice it's before orders, not before strats. So you can also fuck with things with strats and then place it as needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I that's yeah. No, love.
Last
You
person
can
to
line
trade
something
them.
out, just nuke
Okay.
something turn one with that. That's nice.
Um,
This one. Oh.
All right. Let's see. Merciless. The presence of the Princeps within the battle group allows it to purchase the Legio specific stratagem Call of the Week multiple times. Although the stratagem may be purchased multiple times, it can only be played once per phase. Call of the Week was the one where if they voluntarily or involuntarily
It's a one
sidestep
pointer.
or move back for 1 point, you get to fire at them. You get to do
Yep.
something because it could be a close combat weapon.
Yeah. Yep. Nope.
A friend,
Amazing.
one of your Titans gets to do it, and this lets you purchase it multiple times.
Yeah. Amazing. Love it.
All right.
If you build into it, that is huge.
So let's say you build into it. Let's say you love this idea. How many times do you buy it?
Twice.
I would say twice.
Okay.
Twice.
Once is nice. The follow-up one is like, oh, come on, man, really? The third time, you're not going to feel the impact as much.
No.
Third time, you're fucking dead. You don't need a third one. They're fucking dead. No, I dare say 2 times, maybe 3 if you want.
Because it's once per phase, I feel like you could pull this trick off twice.
Agreed. I don't think
3
you're
times
not
a game
getting it
is
3
a stretch.
times.
Round.
The only way you're getting it more
Once
than
per phase,
twice
because
is
you would have to have multiple charge targets
Yeah.
or have a fuck
Oh,
ton of quake.
okay. So no, the reason I'm going to make the argument for 3. You charge, right, in the movement phase.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you get lucky, push him back, that boom, you played. Okay, wonderful, excellent, right? That was the movement
They
phase.
figure, you blew your load. They're gonna say, well, no, they would know your Princeps trait.
Shooting
though.
phase.
No, you
let's say
could
he
have
doesn't-
it again.
Shooting phase.
Okay,
Let's say
okay.
he doesn't back up, right? Let's say shooting phase, he doesn't
they're
back
not going to
up.
back up. It's that simple. Don't ever assume they'll back up. They never will.
No. Let's say shooting phase, he didn't back. Like movement phase, he got, he got punched, backed up 2 inches, but you're still in melee range because you based him, right? This is just I'm saying
Wait,
you based
he could be knocked back 3 though, because it's D3.
Yeah.
it is D3. But let's say you knock
Could
him
be
back
too
1
far.
or 2. That's a 33. You hit him again, back him up again. Now you hit it again. That's 2 in 1.
But keep in mind, it's
Yeah.
maybe you back them up.
True, I know, but I'm saying
It's a 1 in 3 that you get it.
Yeah.
very true.
You're
But I'm also
going
saying
down the
that-
path of you need too much to happen to be able to do this cool thing.
Yes, but it's still awesome. I'm still going to say
If
it's awesome.
if it occurs, if you get every die roll exactly the way you need it, I think that's why 2 is the right spot. Because let's face it, if you have more than 1 copy of this, your opponent is not going to be voluntarily making these movements. It's that simple.
Well, he doesn't know you have more than 1 copy either.
Well, he
You're
knows
running
you
this
can,
Legio, and
though,
they know what
'cause he
Princeps
knows your
take you took.
trait.
True.
You took it more. Yeah, you took it at least twice. I know your trait, so you have at least 2 copies. I'm not voluntarily doing any of
God,
that.
I only took it once, bitch.
But even then, either
Just
way, I'm
psych
still
him the
not
fuck out.
voluntarily making those movements.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
exactly.
means
No, I know,
you
I
better
know.
have a lot of concussive weapons. Now, if you have a lot, I could see you trying to make the argument for 3. But you better have, like 2 power fists and
A fist
like 2
reaver
quake
and a
cannons
quake.
somewhere. Yeah.
You need at least 3, if not 4, concussive weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you only have
like
a 1 in 3 chance, assuming you hit and connect and all that kind of stuff. There's only a 1 in 3 chance that you get the result that's going to let me shoot again. So it's good, but yeah, I think it's 2. Even with extras, I think you go 2. Because it might only be 2 of your points, but you're only getting like 5 points. You don't have a lot of points to play with. And
you want that other trait. 'Cause
yeah,
the other
that's the
trait is
thing.
golden.
You want to save 2 for Son of Blood.
Yeah.
And that's 4 out of 5. So you have 1 for like a little perk here or there. Or if you're doing the silly thing with the Mega Bolter, that's also 2 points
Yeah.
for that overcharged cannon.
So you're
So
you're doing that
that
instead of
and Scent of Blood is 4, or yeah.
Yeah.
You have
It's
to
a one or
start
the other
making
thing, unless
decisions at that point.
unless you have
Yep.
more points, obviously.
You can't do all 3 things.
These guys are cool. I'm gonna say it out.
No, these are
I
sick.
dare say
That's
that
a
I
sick
like
scheme.
them as much as Furion. And I don't say that often because I love Furion a lot and I love a
We all know.
Storm, the Loyalist, a lot. Because the Storm is one of my more favorite ones. But I dare say that these guys are pretty damn cool. These are
I can't
also,
find
by
the
the way, I
downside.
want to go back for 5 seconds. Remember the really weird Nurgly one, right? That we were talking about?
Yeah.
Mordaxis?
Yeah. Give him
Mordaxis.
spit. Give the Warhound spit. That's what Josh does. He takes Warhounds with spit on them, and you spit out a strength 5 flamer template, but it's fusion. So you roll a d10 on the armor.
All right.
It's d3 flamer hits.
So
I'm just going back because I was talking like,
That's fair.
how within 4 or 6 inches.
I still like
Just
the
because you're
Gore
already
Crows
corrupting
better.
the shit out of them. Yeah. But anyway, back to this. Yeah, no, I like the Gore Crows. I like the Gore Crows a lot. They're really cool. Definitely up there on the cool level. And if I didn't play Furions, I'd probably play Gore Crows just because I have a Dark Mechanicum Force that is Scoria.
Yeah, it would be very fitting for you. Absolutely.
Well, that's what, me. I have an epic Custodes Force. I try to match my armies as
Well, we
much as
know.
possible.
We still just got to break you out of knowing things about stuff that isn't your particular armies. But
No,
we're
I don't
working
know
on that.
anything. I only play Furion. So so far I've not played any of these, but Gore Crows, definitely something I like.
I think what we're going to have to do at some point when we have some time is a series of things and just different Legios. We're sitting here talking about all these, actually try them out and
Yeah.
just see how it actually goes. I think
Fuck
that would be
around
fun.
with the triple volcano cannon.
Honestly, Dan, let's do this on Saturday.
There you go.
Oh.
Don't run Miss
We're
Fury.
all,
Run as something else.
we're all rolling dice.
To be fair, I did try the triple volcano cannon Warbringer, but it was again Legio Furion, and it was fucking hilarious. I did die. I will
not
preface this by saying I did fucking die, even with Frozen Soul. That was only because I rolled 3 doubles in one turn. And no, actually rolled 4 doubles because I shot the weapon again. I was like, I
course you
can't
did.
roll a double again, and I did. But yeah, no, it was actually quite fun. Yeah. Anyway,
No, that would actually
wait.
be interesting because there's nothing that says that. Like run it as something else to try out something else that's interesting. See what you think of it because then
I do want to. I am scouring for it. Oh man, the podcasters are gonna fucking PM you on this shit. I am looking for another Titan Legio to buy. There was one
Really?
beautiful Titan Legio I saw on Facebook.
no. What you need is Legion, Star Wars. Get some Star Wars.
No, get the fuck out of here. First of all, I already started Infinity.
Okay. Here's the other
One-
thing. It's good if we play more similar games because that makes better content.
Very true. I understand.
Yeah.
But are Ewoks troops yet? No. Okay.
Not yet. Those boxes haven't released yet.
Exactly.
Then-
Okay.
Although the other thing apparently now some of them are looking at as conquest. So we'll see.
Oh no! I don't. No.
I can't
George
do
already
it.
told me on that. I hated it. I don't. So
I
the
don't know
models look
anything about
amazing.
it. I'll tell you the truth.
So
Honestly,
the models, it's basically fantasy. It's a quicker version of Warhammer Fantasy with more realism. The models look fucking fantastic. I'm not going to diss the people who made the models. They are beautiful with a capital beautiful. Why the fuck are they on 20 mil circles? The models are huge. They're literally bigger than Chaos Warriors, and they're stuck on 20 mil circles. Now, mind you put them in formation trays, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's for
But it,
ranking
like-
purposes. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, it fucking, oh my god. You have this big, bulky, beautiful Viking looking model, and it's like a 20 mil base. What the actual fuck? It angers me.
You
Anyway,
once
that's
put
just-
models
I
on
feel
clear
like I'm the
bases.
only person in the world.
Actually, no, because think about it this way. We were talking about Infinity, and Dexter was laughing at me. Not because I was buying versatile nameplates for my Infinity, but because I was like, why the fuck is this big, bulky monkey, like size 2 monkey, on a 25 mil base. Literally, the feet barely go on the base. Barely go on the base.
It's just a holdover of what they did. They haven't really decided to
Yeah.
rethink the base, but also because remember, in Infinity, base size matters. You know, it's a measurement tool. Your model is essentially the cool looking thing. You're a base with a silhouette. That is really
Yeah.
what you are. So, like, the reason they haven't changed it is probably because my assumption would be through plays testing, they figured out, man, if we change this, that's just bad for game. Like, it doesn't work
Yeah,
well
because
in the game.
monkeys. Yeah, the monkeys are not great at getting shot at. I'm actually Dex was laughing. He goes, "Only Dan would model for disadvantage." And I'm like, "Fuck you guys! I do what I want because it's cool." But no, it's just like most Infinity models look great on a 25 mil base because they're super. They look, they're super skinny, realistic humanism.
Yeah.
But the monkeys are thick. Like they're Custodes sized essentially, almost Custodes sized, and they're on like a 25 mil base, and it's like, oof, oof.
All right.
How did
Why
we get
don't
into?
go?
Yeah,
What
let's
was
end
that?
this. No, I said I don't know how we got on basing. Like, wait, where the fuck?
Because that is your obsession right now. And that'll do it for us tonight. As always, I want to thank everyone for either listening or watching, depending on if you're catching this on any podcatcher that you use, or if you're watching this on the YouTube channel. As always, things like comments, likes, subscribes, or reviews, all of that, depending on the particular medium, helps us greatly. On behalf of everyone here, have some good hobbying and some great gaming.